Hey, there we go. There we are. I was trying to say there we are and here we go at the same time. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to an extremely late night Monster Hunter World Iceborne video. Is it night or is it morning? For me, it's 5 a.m. in the morning as opposed to 4 a.m. at night. I don't know. It's kind of weird, right? Shocking early stream. How's it going, Wellix? Wellix, what are you doing up so late? He's the overnight prison guard. He doesn't let anyone escape at night. Basically, I was sitting around wondering what I wanted to work on for a video, and then I decided, I've been doing all these live streams with my wife for Resident Evil 5, and I felt kind of bad because we haven't had a proper Monster Hunter live stream in a while. By the way, here's the session idea if you'd like to join. I'm just going to be joining randoms today. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be helping randoms. Also, I'm going to go ahead and work on a different heavy bowgun build. In fact, what if we actually had a list of the most powerful builds? Here, let's go to change equipment. So what do we got? How do I have this system set up? Loadouts back here, loadout. So let's rename this. Oh, we have to store something here. All right, we're going to rename this 14 best builds. I'm just going to get some crazy good builds back here. And we're going to remove the Safajiva, not the Safajiva, the Zenajiva armor. Let's go ahead and make this build proper. Remove all that real fast. How's it going, everyone? Sitting on my desk and doing homework. So when are they announcing it again? Heavy bowguns only. And now I'll mix in a stream. I'm trying to learn CPP and here's a live stream. CPP? Nah, you don't need that. CPP is for goofballs. Let's see. Garuga Greaves. Let's see what else. We could wear Safajiva armor, couldn't we? To get even more damage. But you know what? I was working on a high damage build and I decided, why am I working so hard to have a high damage build? I actually realized it's just not my style to have a high damage build. I don't really care. I'm going to do a really nice survivable build. Let's do that. In fact, we're putting that together right now. Fellshroud, Kushala, Ruinous, Kaiser, Zora, Leon Body. Oh, I bet it's the arms, isn't it? Shar Ishvalda. I was reading a piece of information, by the way, earlier that was talking about how Lunastra is actually the second highest the second highest health monster in the game, with only one monster that has more health than Lunastra, and that was Shar Ishvalda. Isn't that funny information? Kind of makes me sad, too, at the same time. Ooh. We'll go with this. That's fine. Awakening Charm's fine. Saul Cruz says, you need sleep. Well, normally I would be working at these hours. Yeah, this is when I get my work done. But you're right, I do need sleep. I sleep in the middle of the day. That's how it kind of goes at this point. So I wake up, it's already dinner time, and that's when I eat dinner. And right after dinner, I do my stream with my wife, and then we have our Resident Evil stream, followed by the cart stream. And then she goes to bed, and I keep working. That's kind of what my... it's kind of like... My schedule is pretty much that way right now. I think it works out. Why does it keep doing that? Every time I back off of this, it scrolls away. Okay, there we go. So maybe it's just doing it for the weapon. So we have Crit Eye. Do we have any... Okay, we do. Let's go ahead and grab one level of spread. And can we grab another one? Well, I don't see another one. All right. Let's go ahead and add the guard decoration. Big fan of the guard decoration. Okay. And now let's grab... I do want to grab another... Well... Decisions. Let's go ahead and finish off Tool... Well, I bet we could... Can we get Health Boost and Tool Specialist? Let's see what our options are with Health Boost. Earplug, Windproof, Tremor, Flinch, Focus, Power Prolonger, Part Breaker, Slugger, Latent Power, Heroics, Resentment, Max Might. Max Might's definitely tempting. Let's see. Tool Maintenance... Isn't it at the end? I think Tool Maintenance is back here. Wow, I like having these Monster Hunter live streams because I feel like it keeps me sharp. You know, I've been playing Resident Evil, and I realized I felt kind of slowed down by it. Like, I wasn't quite as good at playing Monster Hunter. So this has kind of sharpened me back up. Where is it? Here it is, Tool Specialist. Flinch free, handicraft, focus, power prolonger, part break, slugger. So the same pool. Ooh, I like this agitator though. Let's grab this agitator. And let's go back to health boost. Where is health boost? Ah, God, I hate it. Here we are. All right, so let's do it again. I think I'll take Mighty, actually. I have money again, says Raging Bad. Hey, sounds good, man. He says it's only $20. Ooh, you better save it. X-Behemoth says, be right back. I'm a few minutes. Thank God I took a screenshot of my classmate's work. LMAO. Raging Bat, if you play a lot of Monster Hunter and want to make a little bit of cash, right now I am looking for somebody who would like to work with me as it's kind of a strange job title actually. Just somebody who helps me gather information. Isn't that weird? I've tried hiring writers in the past, and that never really works. But one thing that has been working is having somebody with me who just kind of gathers information that's useful or interesting. So I'm kind of looking for another person who's interested in doing that, and they're naturally good at it. I've realized how important it is because Fan's Perspective has been helping me with that. He's really good. So let's see, we're going to get crit boost here. Oh, okay, so we're not going to have room for everything. Here's crit protection. That's pretty good. And then what do we have here? Yeah, somebody who wants to keep me informed is actually really valuable. Medicine. We'll take one more of it. All right, so we have Health Boost, Divine Blessing, and Tool Specialist 5. That's really cool. All right, and I think this last decoration slot is going to be Guard, definitely. One level of Guard should make it easy for us to absorb 2 hits of most things. There we go, Iron Wall. Oh, wait, you need 2 levels of Iron Wall, don't you? Reduces stamina depletion by 15%. You need 2 levels of it for that. Well, we'll leave it at... You know, I'm going to ignore it. Let's go with... Instead, let's go with True Shot. Yeah, we'll take True Shot instead. All right. And as for equipment, I know you're supposed to take Impact Mantle. I feel like I prefer Tempero Mantle. And actually, instead of Rocksteady, we'll have the Impact Mantle there. So it'll be Impact and Temporal Mantle. Raging Bat says, please DM me on Discord. I'd like to hear more. Well, you DM me the other way around. I get like a bazillion messages. I'm not going to remember to DM you, I promise. So if you're interested in it, you can contact me. It's really important that you're really familiar with this particular game. And you just have to be somebody who's very good at understanding information and communicating. So that would if it sounds challenging, it's not as challenging as probably it is. So let's see what else. So this is going to be for the Temporal Mantle. What should we have in the Temporal Mantle? Maybe well, what do we have? 1 level of True Shot. Can we get another one? True Shot level 2. Well, we'll just put attack in. All right. So this is going to be our... Yeah, this is going to be our build for the Spread Ammo Heavy Bowgun. And it is a defensive build. It's not an offensive build. But it's terrific because you get the Impact Mantle back faster thanks to Tool Specialist Secret. And this means you use Tool Specialist Secret more often. All right. So maybe I'll show that again later in a video. Sweet. Oh, Wellix is here. How's it going, Wellix? What's he wearing? I think he's wearing the same weapon. Let's go ahead. So this is a... Basically, this is going to be a live stream where we help randoms. That's the goal here. And you guys can pop in and join too if you want. But my goal is to just focus on the randoms this time. We're going to respond to SOS. Let's see what people are doing at... What time is it? 5 a.m. in the morning. Looking for somebody who really needs maybe some help. How about these guys? You can see Quinaron. He's only high rank 30. And then GT is only master rank 9. So let's help these guys out. And let's not die, all right? Let's try not to die. That's, you know, sometimes I joke about dying for the randoms and they carry me. But this time, let's try not to die. We're going to help them win. Mecha says, hello, I got up for school just now. Oh, very good. Glad to hear that. Study hard, right? What about True Shot for Temporal for Epic Softening? I think that's what I did, right? How's it going, my men? How's it going, Irfan? By the way, I want to do another shout out for. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me see if I can get his name right. He gave me a name actually. Did he not? Here it is. So he goes by Crazy Gold on Discord. He says his name is Max. His friend's name is Crowned Raven or Crow. His name is Clay. That's like 3 names. So Max and Clay. Thank you so much, Max and Clay. If you guys are watching or if you watch this later on the playback, they made a very, very generous donation of a laptop to me, which is perfect timing because this laptop that I have currently it's been breaking for a little while, and it's nice to be able to know that I can rely on a second laptop being ready to go when this laptop really does poop out. What I'll be doing on the new laptop, I'll be configuring it to have all of the same assets I currently use, and that'll take a little while, so you won't see me using it anytime, probably in the next month. But and this laptop is still running, so we'll keep using this laptop, and when it poops out a bit more, we'll go ahead and swap out to the other one. I'm very excited for that. But first I got to get a cracked version of Premiere and Photoshop going, right? Don't steal, kids, except for when it's really good. So let's see, Hunter Bracadios, and they're over here. Where's that going to be? Sweet. All right, let's go help them, everyone. So let's see what you guys are talking about. Since this is more of a casual live stream, I'm happy to have a conversation with you guys about anything you feel like talking about. Where are we going? Let's grab this real fast. Oh yeah, let's just get our Raider Rider. The Raider Rider will take us there. Oh, come on, man. Take me to the thing. Why does he... Oh, I hate that the Raider Riders do this. Like, obviously what I want to do is fight the bad guy. Snow White says, hey, can you help me? I'm in Xbox. I think we could. If you log in, if you're stuck on the story or something, we probably could help you tonight. Why not? Irfan says, playing on Xbox at the moment. Yes. Cranston says, hello. How's it going, Cranston? Alright, so this build is all about having your temporal mantle all the time, basically. Your temporal mantle and your impact mantle. Hold on, let's get this. Let's get this scope on. So I don't like playing with the scope, but the scope actually provides an enormous boost to damage, so you wouldn't not play with it. How's it going, David? He says, imagine if Monster Hunter World Iceborne had new content. I know exactly how you feel. That's why my wife and I are taking this as an opportunity to play Resident Evil 5. As you guys know, Resident Evil is also a Capcom game, is a Capcom title, so I thought it would be appropriate to maybe try out a different Capcom game for a little while. The funny thing is, it's kind of screwing me up because I'm so used to using the bowgun in this game, and that game, shooting is totally different than in this game, so it's like, it's kind of confusing even. Where is he? Get this loaded up. Sebastian says, big fan, can I ask about the treasures on that map? What do you need to do? The treasures? What is he referring to? Wow, we're not getting any use out of this temporal. I'm trying to get him under the boulder. Well, that sucks. I'm sorry. I suck. I just, I was getting really, really impatient and my teammates are all over the place. I just want to... The thing is, I stand around waiting for the damn boulders to drop, and then when it doesn't happen, I end up not doing any damage myself, so I just got rid of them. That was sad, though. I kept hoping he would be under them. Someone even placed this trap, but he didn't fall into it until just now. How's it going, Eoth? I notice I'm also picky about where I shoot them. This is one of the reasons why the... sticky ammo has done so well, because the sticky ammo doesn't really rely on good positioning. Nice, good job. Let's try and get a KO on him. Should be very close to KOing. Alright, he should be pretty close to KO right now. Is he going to sleep? Oh. I'm just going to try and get a little more KO on him while I can. I think it was Rathalos who woke him up. Woo! We're at halfway on our mantle. What just happened? Can't get to his head. I noticed in multiplayer it's so much harder to get consistent headshots with your spread ammo bowgun. Yeah, I did my best to try and KO him there. I guess it's just not enough. Oh, that was fast. I did not mean to load that at all. That's really sad. Oh, he KO'd there. Okay, so somebody else helping out with the KO a little bit. Part's broken. Ooh. God. This Rathalos won't go away, man. Alright, we just shot him with 2 tranks. See if we can capture him. Oh, he's captured. Capturing saves so much time, guys. You should always try to capture. What is the treasure? Is it worth? What? Ironic Klepto says, okay, the weapon looks really awesome. It's the Burst Cannon Safijiva Safi Heavy Bowgun. That's right, Safi Burst Cannon. I think I've been a bigger fan of the Safi Light and Heavy Bowguns at the moment. Yeah, they've been really strong, actually. Alright, we successfully helped someone. The completion time was still 35 minutes, though. Doesn't it feel like perhaps a sticky ammo build would have been stronger in this case? I think it would have been. I think when you're playing multiplayer, you know, if you're trying to chase a target with spread ammo, you end up losing a lot of time as the monster transitions between teammates. This does not really happen with the sticky ammo. So we have this build saved, and it's a tool specialist build, and I think it's really actually quite fun. Let's go ahead and take our sticky ammo build out. We're going to give it a run and see how that feels as well. So we got spread, we got sticky, you know, there's elemental builds. I'm not too worried about elemental builds. Well, it says, I joined you on the same SOS, lol. I noticed that. I think all you have to do is check the quest board, by the way, for available quests. And quests that I've joined should be available, by the way. Oops, took us here instead of to the Gathering Hub. That's kind of annoying. All right, let's find another SOS. We're going to help another person. All right, lots of people going through the story. Sterling Pride. Events. We've got trophy fishing. Optionals. Let's see what we have in the optionals. Special Arena Burieth. Oops, I didn't mean to back out so much. Absolute Power. Let's help this guy out. He's only Hunter rank 60, right? So he's really fresh. He's new from the base game. Here's the Magna Gametis Vulcan. It's one of my favorite builds right now. It's been my favorite build for a long time, right? Got the sticky ammo. Put this on. So I have Safi Burst Cannon, Magna Gametis Vulcan. Those are 2 really powerful builds. Fertilize that again. Should be able to go, right? Oh, no, I guess not. Oh, there we go. Raging Bat says, I'll be back in a bit. Slugger Secret with level 3 sticky is my go-to recently for group play. Reach KO threshold every 90 seconds. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like the KO secret skill personally. I think that getting level 3 KO is good enough. And then from there, I'd rather have True Spare Shot. I think True Spare Shot ended up being much more valuable to me. Need to get on that Magna train, says Ironic Klepto. You do, man. It's a really terrific, powerful weapon in Monster Hunter. Jason says, God, the loading on non-PC, it's not too bad. Actually, that's one of the things I noticed was that it wasn't as bad as I remember. After playing on PC and having it be really fast, I realized this is pretty tolerable. It is fast on PC, though. I'll admit that. It's very fast. Okay, let's find out where our teammate is. He's down here, or up here. Oh, he's up here. That's the right term. Alright, let's ride this gyros over. God damn. Dang, dude. Why does he do this? Yeah. Oh, it doesn't let me follow. Okay. Go get him. So we're going to be using Sticky Ammo 3, and all of you guys know about the Sticky Ammo meta in the game at this point. It's just really, really strong. What weapon would you guys like me to do afterwards? We could do another weapon after this. Oh, there's a mount. We got Logan and Wellix in here. Frick yeah. Okay, and he is down. I was doing it on the PC earlier, I think. Yeah, this is far too easy. This does not require me to actually be close to him, which is nice because it really is hard to chase with the spread ammo on a big team. On the other hand, you can also tell it's doing significantly less damage. Raging Bat says, Capcom is said to release the 2 new variants tomorrow, as a matter of fact. Release the 2 new variants? Are you sure about that? Why can't I get down from here? There it goes. I love the effect of shooting these on the ground. Wow, it does no damage. Rip off. Three, 4. He jumps right on top of me. Oh, it must be... Oh, it's Oda Garen who can be thrown. Got it. Look at that. See? So if one of them is capable of being thrown, it doesn't matter if the other one's not. You can still use the one that's, you know, not aggroed to basically run them into each other. See? Like doubles your ability to throw them into each other. Not enraged. That's the word I'm looking for. So Tigrix was enraged, which means we couldn't throw him into a wall. But Oda Garen wasn't enraged, so we could throw Oda Garen into Tigrix for a free knockdown. It's a really powerful move. Also adds some damage, right? Brrr! Man, this is almost too easy. I got pushed back so far. Now it kind of feels like it's time to use a trap on him, doesn't it? Have we fought Tigrix alongside Oda Garen this entire time? This is why dung pods are so useful these days. Gameconomist, did you know you can knock them into small monsters like Jagras and Obdanoth? I did not know that. That's very interesting. Four. Oh, He didn't knock over. So let's get down there. Crossplay would be amazing with this game, but would be hard because of PC mods. Yeah, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Woo! Oh, he still hit me. Two. Three. Oh, I stopped him in his tracks. Don't you always feel bad when you kill the gyros? Like, they're on your team, but you kill them anyways. Hey, look at that. It's 5:30 a.m. in the morning. We have 260 people watching. We're doing well. This is not a normal stream time for me at all either. I almost never stream at this time. Still 250 people watching. You guys are great. Now we can properly talk about coronavirus and how it was definitely the US CIA that implemented it. I'm just kidding. Woo! Sticky ammo is way too powerful, man. It is so ridiculously good. Having just used spread shot, I think that spread shot is more powerful, obviously, but this is so easy. I think easiness definitely has to be a measure for how useful a build is. Obviously, if I'm speedrunning, you will want the most powerful build, but I'm not speedrunning, am I? Maybe I should make like a top 10 easiest builds, you know what I mean? Or like a compilation of 14 easiest builds, one for each weapon class. Is he going to sleep? He's limping. Ha-ho, Silver! At least console crossplay, I can't imagine the world in peace when we can't even play a game on Xbox, PS because of the console war. Ah, yes, the console war. By the way, I just thought of another one, another tip for 10 things you didn't know. I'm trying to get 10 tips together for another 10 things you didn't know video. You guys ought to make your best contributions right now so you can get into the video. Let's see. I think I wrote it in here. Where did I write the... I was working on one. Where did I put it? I didn't put it in here, did I? Oh, here it is. I did, yes. Alright, so I'm at 5 so far. Gameconomist, you crazy friggity frick, go rest and spoon your wife. Oh, she's probably so lonely. You're right. She probably would enjoy that. Good morning. Ah, I see GE using the brainless build like me. How's it going, Peachy? It's actually pretty old. Back in the 70s, there was a song called My Sharona. Later in the 80s, 90s, there came a variant on it known as My Corona. It's the coronavirus. Helping newbies. I'm glad I could help with at least one hunt. Oh, cool. I'm guessing you were in there. The situation on Wuhan is straight out of Left 4 Dead. Let's look up the news, guys. That's one of the fun things we do on these live streams. We talk about the news. Coronavirus death toll passes 1,000. China reports its deadliest day yet with more than 100 people killed from the virus, while over 42,000 are infected globally. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so that's pretty sad. Yeah, that makes me sad. I don't know what else to say. Like, wow. So, light bowgun builds. Those are a thing, huh? Do we have a... Okay, here's the Safajiva Aquashot equivalent of what we're doing with the Magna Gametis. Oh, I never made a video for this, did I? I probably should. Change... Oh, layered armor setting. Here we go. Big fan of the Silver Knight armor set. I actually paid for the deluxe edition just for this layered armor. Really big fan of it. Alright, so big fans of both of these. Burst cannon is really cool too. Let's see who we're joining now. Blizzard Blitz, Absolute Power, Bad Friends, Great Enemies, Guide to the Guided Apian. This is the one with the Shara Shvalda, is it not? I can never remember the names. If you didn't know, you can block with the bowgun shield if you ready your slinger and then immediately unready it. Block with the bowgun shield if you ready your slinger and then immediately unready it. I'll need a minute to think about that. Are you saying this lowers perhaps the recovery time of taking a shot? Is that what it is? If you ready your slinger. David D. Davidson says, I'm having a weapon crisis at the moment. Oh no. Is the Shara Ishvalda light bowgun good? It's outclassed by the Raging light bowgun. If you're talking about for sticky ammo, it's outclassed by the Raging light bowgun and by this one that I'm wearing right now. Here's Bombardier. Alright, we got Bombardier. Yes. Tips you didn't know. DPS does not equal effective oops. Gosh dang it. Oh, there it goes. If you... Oops. I guess that's the end of the quest. Darn it. If you aren't that good at dodging, building defense will increase your DPS due to less time recovering health. Yeah, I don't know if that's a thing you didn't know, though. I think a lot of people know that. They just aren't putting it into words so well. I'll think about it, though. Ironic Klepto says, I think it's sort of frame specific because I've tried it sort of on and off. PogChamp Giku says, we got the lots of meme because of coronavirus, but at what cost? Yeah. Jesus. How long do you think it may take someone to find the weapon to main? It would take 5 million coronavirus. That's how many. You will help this guy. Will we? No, he doesn't actually need help. This guy might need help. We were just helping with this one. So look at him. He's Master Rank 10. He's Hunter Rank 23. It's just pitiful. Let's get in there. I know we already fought him, but let's give him some more help. This is the next guy. Odette, we're going to help him with Absolute Power. Absolute Power can be really frustrating, so this would be nice for him. Alright. That didn't work out either. No quests have been posted. Is this the same one? It is the same one, but it didn't want us to join. Ooh, this is a tough one too. We'll help this guy. So, have not seen all of the 10-tip videos, but did you already include that an easy way to break a monster's back is to mount it and wait until it slams its back into a wall to knock you off? I've never heard that one before, Dragon Nico, or Nixo. Let's add that one. Dragon Nixo says, have a monster slam its back to break its back. I'll have to do research on that one in order to be able to include it. Mary says, I'm going to start my own streams playing Nier Automata and name it Playing Nier until Gameconomist plays with bow build. Oh no. The bows! I wish the bows had like a raw bow that was actually pretty decent, because then I probably would use it. We have 30 plus in Thailand, 12 were cured. Interesting. You should do a video on helping new players getting the Raider ride. Wow, I'm going to screenshot that. You know what I actually did? What I did was I made a commentary for my editor on how to help people get, unlock the Raider ride. And he's like, isn't this information old information or something like that? He didn't want to work on it. And look at you saying this is exactly what you should work on. Oh, that's what I was thinking. I'll send him a picture of that. Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. By the way, let me go ahead and eat. Alright, jump back here. Alright, we're going to head out. You should do a video on helping new players getting the Raider ride. Oops. God damn it. There it is. Spec for uptime, not for damage. Hammer is always the weapon for everyone. There you go, David. Normal season flus kill 290 to 650,000 people per... Oh, 290,000 to 650,000 people per year. Right, is a really shocking number. E.g., if you can't dodge shouts, go get earplugs. Kai Lemonos says, recovery up works with the life regen you get with the weapon augmentation. That might be a point for your video. Right, that's an old tip. But you know what? Some people might not know that one. I actually know that one. I might mention it. It's not really a useful tip. That's the thing. You don't need it. Generally, your health regen is already so good that you don't need recovery up. Tip number 8. DPS doesn't mean squat if you can't stay alive. Monster can be captured when it dropped third slinger. Not from claw attack. Is it 3 now? See, it used to be 2, and I felt like 2 stopped working. So you're saying 3 now, huh? That's interesting. I'll keep an eye on that. I'll give it a test. I remember Brandon might say, I thought the virus was pretty weak and only killed elderly and people with weak immune systems. It seems that's not true. I think young people are dying from it too. Sociological material rewards need a buff. How many head hits does it take to knock a wrath out of the sky? Still waiting for that bow. Never understood that mechanic. Oh man, I'm so far behind. Oh, here we are. Any day now, there will be a bow stream. I know. I need to pick up the bow and start getting good. The problem is I haven't really worked on any of the Safajiva bows. You know the Blight Moss can knock down flying monsters. I've heard of that one. I've never actually tested that one. It doesn't seem useful enough. Let's get this sticky ammo going. Woo! God, I keep missing. I keep missing. He's KO'd so often. Oh, god damn it. I'm so used to not using the, I hate using that. Roll the evade to reload. I'm not a fan of it. Oh my god! How am I missing these? There we go. Let's go ahead and take this off. There we go. And let's put on the temporal mantle now. Oh my god. God damn it. You know, the coronavirus only started because some nitwit figured that putting a bat in their soup dishes at a restaurant of all places was a good idea, or so I've heard. Yeah, I've heard of that similar kind of stuff. The Chinese like to eat a lot of exotic animals, and this actually increases the odds of some sort of animal-to-human virus being passed along. I've heard of that, and it's kind of unfortunate, like, you know, because people actually die from it in China, first of all, but also people from other countries die, like an American died recently from it. It's just kind of sad. I don't know what to think. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to put down a mine. Alright, let's give him paralyze. What's going on here? Is another monster? No, it's the same. It's Brachio's. Oops, he didn't like that. The sounds he makes reminds me of like a monster from Doom. It's cool. Bree! Put on the Rocksteady now. Which, to be honest, you wouldn't want to eat from anyways. What? What the hell? Yeah, it sucks. Man, he's so annoying to try and drop under these damn boulders. I did it again. It's supposed to reload like that. 2, 3, 4. Big brain boulder drop. I know. I know. Oh my god, what am I doing with myself? Okay, so you can reload off of the normal ammo even. Sounds like I just need to get good at the whole evade reloading. Oh, that's... Oh, we got away from him though. What do we have left? Do we have any of these left? Yeah, we have some left. We're good. Oh. Oh, we actually just dodged them like normal there. Turf war. Don't do it. He's trying to sneaky away. I don't think so. No sneaky away for you, sir. Do I have no other traps? I have no other traps. Nice job, guys. Alright. Hopefully we saved... Was it Hugh Cocote? Hopefully we saved him a little bit of time. You can evade reload after you use your special ammo too. That's right. Mary says, no, you grandma. Just to make small talk, I've been looking for a copy of Pokemon Platinum to play on the Dark Souls. I'll be getting soon. Cheapest one I found was $7. Know your grandpa. Do it. Know your family. Know your family tree. Dropped Mike. Is this small PP courtship? Probably. All right, let's see what else was in the news. Trump's budget plan shreds safety nets. Merkel's succession plan is in tatters. Don't trust your memories on weed. What? Something about weed? How Trump's long-promised middle-class tax cuts might happen despite deficits. Donald Trump repeatedly promised middle-class Americans fresh tax cuts if he wins the second four-year term. Da-da-da. But another tax cut will further the country's mounting deficit. Ooh. A little bit sleepy. Huh. So the reason why that would, for those of you who don't really understand, it's really simple. The reason that would increase the deficit, which is our debt, our national debt, the reason that would increase the deficit is because if Americans are paying less taxes, then the government has less money to work with. Interesting. That's heavy bowgun, light bowgun, insect glaive. Huh, what do you guys think is the best insect glaive now? I bet it's the blast insect glaive from, here, let's go work on it. Politics, meh. Politics, meh. Weed, real shit. You're funny, man. What's your opinion on the Kinsect only build? There's a Kinsect only build? Do I have an opinion? God Terror Boy says, no backsies. Oh, I know what a tip I'm gonna add. So I got another tip. Okay, that's gonna go into the video. No, you backsies. Let's look up insect glaive. Safi's Drake Spear. Safi's Bolt Spear. Oh, here we go. Safi's Shatter Spear. Give us another rant about American debt. I hate it, American debt. And things similar of that nature. Grr. Well, basically, actually, it's something I was thinking about a lot today. Was American debt, obviously. And how generous we can be with ourselves and how much money we can give ourselves. It's kind of an interesting thing, isn't it? We're kind of in this huge debt bubble. There's a really large debt bubble. And nobody really knows what that means, you know? Like, we're in the future, and the world is holding on to an amount of debt that's never really been held on to before, right? So when it comes to money, people, especially when you're younger, you don't really understand what money is. When you get older, money is just this piece of paper. But as I was saying, there's this debt bubble that it just keeps getting larger and larger and larger. And I don't know, it's weird. It's like there has to be a point where we go, oh, we should have grabbed Teostra Technique. What was I doing? There has to be a point where we go, we can't really afford to go into more debt. There's sharpness increase. We're going to pop that in over there. I'm not 100% on this, but isn't the debt largely symbolic anyway, as in countries want to be in debt to gain favor deals with other states? No, it's not really just symbolic, though. That's the thing. Like, so we actually pay interest to the other countries, right? And the other all of the countries do this thing where they buy gold. This is something I've been learning about a lot lately. So you guys might have heard, maybe if you watch my card channel, you might have heard that I've been watching gold and silver a lot. And what countries are starting to do, central banks, I'm not talking about like just individuals in a country, what central banks in countries are starting to do is buy up large amounts of gold. And this is really kind of like a big red flag to me that says they don't actually believe our monetaries. They don't believe in the value of our currency in the future. That's what a central bank is, basically like the bank that the government uses. It's not owned by the bank, it's just the bank that the government uses to print money. So that's what a central bank is. And the central banks are buying up gold, and it's a very unnerving thing. Like, ooh, What does that mean? Why would they be buying gold? And it's because they know that the economy has been doing really well for a while, but growth has kind of slowed down. And then at the same time, all these countries are holding on to more debt than they've ever held on to before. And they're probably going, I don't know if this is such a good idea to have all of our money in dollar bills or whatever your currency is. And so they're saying, you know what, we're going to take some of our money and we're going to transfer it into gold. We're going to buy some gold because if the economy falls into a recession and the value of our currency deflates really rapidly, well, we're protected because we put it into gold rather than having it be in dollar bills and currencies, right? Because that's what happens when your economy collapses. What your government starts doing is it starts to print money in order to try and stop the collapse. And then when it starts printing money, since there's more money in circulation, all of it is worth kind of less. It's kind of like a government's tricky way of stealing from you, right? So you have $10, the government has $10, and then the government says, I'll print another $10 bill. Well, now there's $30 total, so your money is actually less valuable than it used to be. So that's what printing money does. And yeah, so it's a very interesting thing. I don't really know what the future will be like, but yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think of all that? What do you guys think of the central banks buying a lot of gold right now? Gold is on the rise, and it's usually a sign that big players in the economy are predicting there's going to be a recession soon. It could just be because we're going into the U.S. elections, right? It's this year in November. And there's always probably a lot of anxiety in the market during that period. So that would probably make sense. That would explain it a little bit. But then also, when you take a look at recessions kind of occur cyclically. They happen about every 10 years. And it's been over 10 years. So you will hear people say we're due for a recession, basically. And we haven't had one. We've had Donald Trump as president and no recession. And the question is, will it just keep going that way? Because if it does, historically, that would be really wild if there was no recession soon. But it seems like it will be going that way. Because when you look at the Dow Jones and all of the other, what are they called again? They're the stocks that you follow in order to get an idea of how the stock market overall is doing. Index, I think they're called the indexes. When you take a look at the indexes, they're all kind of, they're like, they're not falling, but they're not growing anymore. And so the question is, are we reached a point in our growth where people aren't, it's a complex equation. Like, are workers being more productive? Are people buying more actually? Have there actually been new inventions worth, like investing in? So it's really interesting. All right, what have we grabbed so far? Let's keep raising the level on this. We might be at a point in the economy where stocks are essentially overvalued. That's the thing. We might be at a point in the economy, the world economy, where the stocks are overvalued. And if we are, what will happen is investors will start pulling their money out. And when serious investors start pulling their money out, all the speculative investors start pulling their money out too, because they don't want to be on the falling incline when it starts to occur. So this speculation leads to a big sell-off, is what it causes. And being in a recession, there's a sort of downward spiral that occurs that causes you to go into a recession and sort of stay in it. And what happens is people stop spending money because there's not enough money anymore. And this actually, when people become tight with their money, this actually increases the problem of the recession. People actually need to go out and buy things and work more. But the recession is being driven by the fact that there's too much debt, not enough growth, just too much debt and not enough growth anymore. I think we still can increase one more attack level, so let's see if we can grab that. But yeah, there's a point where that happens, and then the market is supposed to react to that by pulling its money out of the market, and that's when your country goes into a recession. And you see the central banks buying up gold right now, so it's an interesting time. I think any sensible adult should have at least a small fund stuck in various markets, gold, crypto, stocks, not to get rich quick, but safety. Right, you hear a lot of people talk about that. You get doomsday preppers who buy like nothing but gold. They're like, the world's gonna collapse any day now, and I'm gonna come out rich because all my money is gold. Then there's some people who say you shouldn't have any gold at all in your portfolio. And the reason they say this is because even when a market's collapsing, you don't really need gold. You can just properly sell off your stock and buy stocks that have become undervalued during the collapse, right? So that's like a totally different group of people. They don't believe in gold at all. They're like, no, why would you? They're like, don't buy gold. You're being silly. So it's very interesting stuff. I find all of it really fun to kind of learn about and think about, and the goal, of course, is to become wealthy, guys. You should all want to be wealthy one day and retire comfortably and go on a cruise ship and then find out that you're trapped on the cruise ship because the cruise ship has contracted coronavirus. Right? It's all part of the plan. Here, let's grab this clause over here. Right. And then it's going to be the Kaiser skirt, isn't it? There we go. And this should be... What should this be? I'm going to let it be the Kieran jacket. Nargacuga Greaves stay? Yeah, they can stay. Can you explain how the Safijiva hunting horn bowgun upgrades work? You mean like with the Dracolite? I mean I could. It's basic. I mean, I guess what I would say is I haven't tested all of the upgrades myself. I just know the ones that are popular. That's all I know. So explain is kind of a tricky word. Can I tell you which ones to go after? Probably. Let's go to the hunting horn real fast. So for the Safi's Shatterhorn, I've gone all attack increase and attack melody 4. Okay? And we're using the Blast Safi's Shatterhorn. And then what was the other one for the light bowgun? For the light bowgun, for purple, what's the word? For general use, you probably want the sticky ammo light bowgun. This one, the Safijiva Aqua Shot, and you can see I've gone Nargacuga Essence, Recoil, and then attack increase. There's another one right here where you can go Elemental Capacity 3 and Reload Assist and use this for water ammo. And I imagine it would be kind of similar for each Elemental Light Bowgun that you want to put together. It might not include Reload Assist, but it will at least include Elemental Capacity 3. I hope that helps. Okay, back to the bugs. Is this what we're running? Well, okay. Oops, not what I was trying to do. Don't buy gold, buy my merch. My bathwater is on sale. Let's jump over here. We're going to choose Respond to SOS. Light from the Abyss. Oh, that'll suck. I don't want to do that one. Across the Lost Path. I don't know that one. What affects the notes / ammo? I don't know what you mean by that. I showed off a whole bunch of stuff. The hunting horns have set melodies in each of the melodies. For bowguns, they have mod upgrades and ammo awakens. What? Our Discord has an art and meme channel, says Symphonia. That's right. We have an enormous Monster Hunter Discord. Actually, I should look up how many people are really in it. You want me to do that right now? Let's do that. How many members do we have? Oh, wow. 28,000 people. Jesus. That's so many people. Manage items. Oh, I've done this 3 times now. He says, thanks, PC here, so I haven't had a chance to play with that. Oh, I see what you're saying. Narga Kuga Boots over Garuga. Go home, teach. Oh, I am drunk. Hold on. Wait a second. We're not done with this build. We haven't even put the decorations in. Yeah, I am drunk. I'm sorry. Garuga Greaves. I am drunk. It's very late at night. We don't need free element at all. Let's take Agitator 4. Actually, we don't need Agitator 4 either. Handicraft. There we go. There's a skill. Actually, I don't know if we needed the handicraft either. We need health boost. Scooby-Doo-Doo-Doo. Well, we'll just have to do this for now. I guess I didn't have to do that at all. Let's finish crit boost. Oh, I gotta sneeze. Uh-oh. Oh, lordy. What a sneeze, man. I don't even see it. Let's just grab some stuff and throw it in. So this guy doesn't have to wait for us. Grab some challenger. We'll update this later, don't worry. I'm sure this build is not right. There we go. Melodies are set. What? Oh, okay. You guys are still talking about the horn. People that using mods in PC, is it cool or bad? It's bad. No, wait, it's cool. So Donald Trump wants to give the middle class a tax cut, but this will cause us to go into more debt. Interesting.
Make sure you have some nulberries on you.
An era may be ending today in New Hampshire. What is it talking about? Today may mark the end of the Iowa-New Hampshire monopoly. What is it talking about? The two states' rising influence. I guess New Hampshire had a lot of influence in deciding which Democrat would become the Democratic primary, or the Democratic candidate. But primary is what they're competing in. I'm sorry. Here, let's go catch up to them and start beating up this monster. Amy Klobuchar leads midnight vote? Oh, gross, dude. Ew. She's so uninteresting. Trump calls Senator a munchkin. What? What is this clown world we live in? There we go, there's red. Blah! Please don't jump again. He did. He jumped again. Let's go ahead and put on the temporal mantle. Dude! I haven't fought this guy in a while. Oh my god, I can't even see what he's doing half the time. Alright, now I'm in trouble. My mantle's broken. Oh, I'm KO'd. Whew. Nice. Alright, we grab him. What just happened? Oh. I looked at the comment section, and when I looked back, I was no longer mounted. Woo! Sweet. Just browse Twitter. Apparently Bloomberg says some pretty racist stuff about minority neighborhoods and is getting canceled LMAO. Michael Bloomberg. Did he really? He doesn't seem like the racist type. I wonder what he said. Oh no! Woo! I was thinking about queuing up another mount on him. Man. Woo! God. I can send you the Twitter link on Discord. Oh no, I don't check Discord while I'm live. I rarely do anyways. I woke up at 5:30 and saw that you were live and thought that I was tripping, so I swiped away the notification. But then I'm browsing YouTube before I leave, and here you are. Yeah, this is not a normal stream time for me at all. Where's the white buff? There we go. Oh man, he's scaring me. Let's get you dust alive. I'm scared to like get near him. He's way too violent. Cops need to be in minority communities because that's where the crime is. That's racism now? Is it not true? That actually is accurate, right? Tell me that's not just accurate. Somebody's going to say, you're a racist now or something like that. I don't know. I live next to St. Louis City. My wife and I do a whole bunch of research on buying homes. We've been doing it like crazy because we just bought a home, and then we bought a home again for her parents. We just bought another home, and you do a ton of research, and the closer you get to St. Louis City, the intensely more violent it gets. Like intensely more violent, and theft goes up, and rape goes up, and all the horrible things go up. And so you go, oh, I'm not buying a home over there, even though I'd like to because the houses are cheap. But the reason the houses are cheap is because nobody wants to actually live in that neighborhood. Yeah. I would send the cops where I'd send the cops where the violence is too. That's just how law works. I don't know. not racism. You could make an argument like poor people commit more crime. I believe that. But it doesn't, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, you could say something like maybe minorities are poorer. That's not racism if it's a fact. And then you could just say, well, maybe they're poor and so they commit more crime. That wouldn't be a fact. That wouldn't be racism either. Man, I feel sorry for people on the left. They have to be so careful with what they say. Like, they literally eat each other. Not exactly, given how much crime these rich folk do and get overlooked. Well, I'm just telling you from what my wife and I just did. We just went shopping for about 4 months, I want to say. We've been shopping for her parents to get a retirement home. And I live next to one of the most violent cities in all of the United States, St. Louis City. And we did all kinds of research on where can we buy a nice home for her parents that is affordable. And we saw the murder rates and the rape rates and the violent crime rate. See, violent crime is different from murder and rape, right? So the violent crime, the rape, the murder, the theft, the closer you get to St. Louis, the dramatically higher it gets. It's not even close. It's like night and day. It's like you step over a highway and it goes from hyper violent and dangerous to almost no crime. And we're trying to get her parents in the area with very little crime. See, so. I don't know. Sometimes it's not so complicated. Sometimes it's exactly what it appears to be. If you want to fix crime, you have to be honest about whatever the problem is. It's probably fixable. Racism would be like if Michael Bloomberg said, there's more crime in minority neighborhoods because whites follow the law better or something like that. That would be racist. That would be racist. I'm sure he said nothing of the sort. He probably just said the problems are in those neighborhoods and we need to go help them. That's probably what he said. Because he's a Democrat. He's not like going to the KKK, right? So silly. Isn't he himself, if you're Jewish, doesn't that count as being like a minority or something like that? Michael Bloomberg's Jewish, isn't he? Man. You missed the point. Most of the rich crimes is white-collar ignored. Dangerous? Yes. Crime? No. I don't know if I actually agree that most white crime goes ignored, actually. I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't think poor people should vote. They never vote for my guy. That's pretty funny that you say that. You know, when it comes to something like fascism, and I'm not calling you a fascist, hold on, I'm not saying that, but it's funny because it often starts with people going, God damn it, they're not voting the way I want them to. It's usually the way it starts. But, you know, if you were to make a case to take voting rights away from criminals, you would not be in the minority for that. I think that a lot of people don't think felons should vote, and they certainly don't vote when they're in jail serving their sentence. I think they can, after they get out of jail, they can apply to vote afterwards, right? I think that's how it works currently. And it's actually a very controversial issue. Bernie Sanders wants to make it so that even when you're in jail for rape and murder, you can vote. And I find that to be really, I don't know, stupid. There's no easy way to get around it. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would you want somebody who makes already very, very, very bad choices to make choices for your country and for your family and for your future? It's like, I wouldn't. I'm not playing very well. We started talking and I'm playing like shit. The insect glaive, it like teases you into wanting to use aerial attacks. That's what it does. Some races a minority. Oh wow, that racist. Now, lol, now stop stream. What'd you say? As you said, they commit crimes because they're poor and they really the source and they really source of this problem. Then ... Well, now hear me out too, though, because I spent most of my life I spent incredibly poor, and I actually just never committed a crime. And if I was going to commit a crime, it would probably be robbery, right? That probably would have been what I committed because I was poor. It doesn't really explain all of the murder and the rape that goes on in those areas. Not just rape and murder, but just violent crime in general. Usually those are associated with gangs and with drug usage. So I don't really know what the solution to that is. I don't think just throwing a bunch of money at them fixes that one. I don't know what causes guys to join gangs. I never wanted to join a gang. I thought gangs were always really stupid. I always thought people who joined gangs were just kind of dumb, to be honest. Like, why would you do that? You're just putting your life at risk, and you're ruining your future, and
Good
the
job,
people in the
partner.
gang don't really care about you. They just care about being seen as the most violent, so I always thought gangs were really stupid. But that's where it comes from for the most part. Drugs and gangs is, to me, what would make sense for joining a gang is if you had almost no parents at all, and you needed like a family. That's the funny thing. When I was 17, I essentially ran away from home and had no mom and no dad. And I used to have 10 siblings, and then I went to having 0 siblings. So even back then, I tried to sort of understand that feeling of wanting to be in a gang, to have that family life again. I didn't feel it. There was no feeling for it at all. So I don't know how people get that feeling. I had no feeling, no desire to be in a gang. It sounds like the dumbest thing you could do. Like, go ahead and throw your life away. I don't know. It's 2020, right? And back then, I would have been younger, of course, but we're in the future, right? People are smart enough to do like 10 seconds of research and discover that joining a gang is really stupid, right? Is it? The internet's right here. Just Google search it. How often do people in gangs do well in life? Oh, never? Oh, most of them end up in jail. Most of them end up unemployable, or they end up with baby mamas and hooked on heroin or cocaine, or you know what I mean. So it's just kind of like, I don't know why people do it. It's when you're poor and you commit like theft. Again, I kind of expect people who are struggling financially to be at higher risk of wanting to commit theft. But the drugs and the gang wars, I never understood that. I really didn't. I really did not understand those things. I sometimes wish the cops could just go in and just wipe all the gangs out. I don't know why we don't do it. Maybe it's far more complicated than that. Maybe it's too expensive. So I've often wondered why we don't just do that. You guys ever sit down and just wonder why we don't just, the Mexican government doesn't just go in and wipe out all of the drug cartels, just totally eradicate them? We send in the military, just eradicate the drug cartels. I never know why they don't do that. It's sort of weird. It's a weird thing to me. Presumably there's a good explanation. I've never heard what that explanation is. Humanitarian reasons, maybe. Oh, I don't want to be too hard on the gangs. I don't know. I don't actually know. Is this the Ray Jane quest? I think it is. Let's see what you guys are saying. Alcohol use to forget the problems your life is in drive up crime rate in poorer communities in my country. I really am. I really do have empathy for that. But again, I feel like we're in the future now, and people know what has to be done to make it in life. You can't be hooked on alcohol. You can't be hooked on drugs. I mean, even just from a financial point of view, if you're poor, you definitely don't have money for alcohol. Alcohol is ridiculously overpriced. It is. It's so expensive. Like, go have a soda. It costs $1. Go have a beer. It costs like $7. It's like 7 times the price. So the idea that you could be hooked on beer when you're already, or whatever it is, maybe it's hard liquor. The idea you could be hooked on alcohol when you're already poor, good luck. You're just, I don't understand how you're going to get out of being poor when you're consuming one of the most expensive luxury items you can be consuming. So just from a financial point of view, you should just be eating like cabbage and beans and rice and chicken thigh and all these healthy, delicious foods, and have some water and maybe have like a coffee and maybe even a soda sometimes. But it's like alcohol, and you're hooked on it because you're trying to feel better about life. But it's like, I don't know, man. That's how drugs work, though. Drugs get you hooked, and then you don't have enough willpower to stop. So I get that part. I don't know what you're supposed to do as a society. Do you spend all your money fixing these people, or do you say, that's your area over there, you figure yourself out, and then you say, this is my area over here, just stay out of my area? See? So, and that's kind of what we do on a larger level too when it comes to countries. If you're a very successful country, most first world countries say, yeah, you can come in here, but we want to know, what do you do? We want to know how educated you are. We want to know if you're going to end up taking a job from our city. So, and my wife and I have looked into all that kind of stuff too, because we're interested in maybe we've considered maybe moving around the world a little bit, even if just for fun. But you learn a lot about immigration rules for other countries. It's really strict. They don't want you if you're basically just going to join and be on their welfare system and not actually appreciate their rules and their customs, right? So, which is why I thought it was so funny that it was so controversial to the Democrats when the Supreme Court justices voted 5-4 in favor of telling immigrants in the United States that they can't just join here and immediately get on the welfare system. You have to prove that you're able to support yourself. Well, that would just be us being like most of Europe then, right? That's what most of Europe does, if not all of Europe. I don't actually know. But yeah, it's an interesting thing, all of it, all the alcohol and all that stuff. Ah, you wish you could snap your fingers and make humans like smarter or better at self-control, right? Wouldn't that be nice? So let's see. I'd join a gang too if I was too dumb to finish school. Yeah. Blackintosh says people join gangs because of lack of familiar figures, a culture of crime, and lack of respect for authority from local culture and musical culture. I would say that all sounds probably about right. Peachy says prisoners who commit capital punishment should be executed. Yeah, and I think I actually agree with capital punishment as well, Peachy. I think a lot of people think that it's outdated, it's barbarism, and my feelings on it are, well, if we have the technology to know with a great deal of certainty that a person has committed a murder, they've already committed the barbarity, and their victims don't get to live and get to vote and get to express their story and get to express their feelings on capital punishment. So if we want to talk about equality and fairness, the most fair thing to do would be to then take the life of the murderer. The murderer should not be allowed to live. It's almost like a spit in the face of the victim, really. Like, how can the victim be dead still and hear us every day the criminal gets to live on, even if he gets to live in his 50s? I'd rather be in jail for 30 years and then get out of jail in my 50s and live the rest of my life than dead, right? So it's clearly unjust, but people have trouble doing something that's so uncivil, and that would be killing people. But you know who didn't have trouble being uncivil? The murderer. He didn't have trouble with it. So I feel that people have a lot of trouble with that. Of course, if you want to talk about the other issue of making sure that they're actually guilty, because sometimes, possibly, we've put people to death who weren't guilty, right? So, but that's an entirely different issue. My position stems from a belief that we actually are certain that this is the person who did the murder. So you, of course, would want to be sure. Let's go ahead and grab this. Yeah, assuming we could definitely know they were the murderer. So imagine they're just like sitting in jail and you're just like beating them for like 30 years. It's like, nah, come on, man. You murdered this other person. They're gone now. You don't get to chill out and have us pay for all your shit for like 30 years. It doesn't make sense to me. But that's my feelings. You guys don't have to agree with that. I don't actually see this that barbaric. I actually think the murder of the innocent person was barbaric. And you're doing them an injustice when you don't take out the killer. You just feed the killer and let him live and let him read books, and I don't actually feel a lot of sympathy for him. That's a totally different issue, isn't it? Oh, I knew he was aiming for me, but I thought maybe he would miss. Didn't we try to mount him last time? Hey, partner! Prisoners who... Oh, I already read that one. Headed to bed. Thanks for the couple of hunts. No problem, Lima Delta Echo. You can't mix an unstable person to a stable one. If do bad things will follow. That's why the concept of prisons are made. Well, I'm sure prisons were made for more complex reasons than that. Prisons are made to hold a person who's dangerous to society, and hopefully not just to keep them out of society so that society is safe, but hopefully to sort of teach them to be civilized. You know, that's what we all want, isn't it? We all just want to live in a civilized society where you can get a job and not worry about your daughter being viciously raped and murdered, right? Because that happens still. It's hard to believe, but that still happens. It's weird. Humans, you know, we're so civilized today. It's like it's hard for us to imagine anyone being so uncivil, and yet it does still happen. And I don't know. We live in this such a heavy amount of civility. It almost makes it difficult for us to properly deal with things when they're not civil. So sympathetic toward killers. You just said the problem is because the homie is broken. The parents aren't there, etc., etc. Oh, the home is broken. I said homie. Right, but also I was saying that was pretty much my life as well. Between having 10 siblings, we were extremely poor my entire life. And when I left home with no wealth. Basically, I was homeless for a while, completely homeless. Like I was so homeless that I did not even because I was homeschooled. I didn't understand that there were government programs for kids like me. So I just lived outside for a little while before I was able to purchase an apartment. Oh, that sucks. That sucks. And there was never a part in this time where I felt like I should join a gang. I just felt like you would have to be really, really, really stupid to join a gang. There was never a question in my mind that you would be stupid to do that. Additionally, I never felt like stealing. And I knew what I needed to do is get a job, save money, and then try to get into school. So those were my goals. They weren't even complicated goals. I got a job and I just went to the job. So I had somebody tell me that was my white privilege too, getting the job. It's like, not really. I was still quite young, and it was just a starter job, and I hadn't committed any serious crimes, right? So it's like there's lots of entry level jobs at retail and fast food. You can get an entry level job, so it wasn't like some privileged thing, and it was so silly. I remember that was I can't remember. It was like a month ago. Somebody claimed I had like white privilege, despite my dad being Filipino. Timber said, to be honest, we should bring back Caesar and restore the Roman Empire. Everyone who's not civilized is a barbarian and in dire need of civilizing. Right. Is it an interesting question? You ever think the America is still quite a young country, and you wonder if ever America would be a country in collapse, right? It's hard to imagine that America could be a country in collapse because we live relatively short lives. We only live for like 75 years. But countries go on for hundreds and hundreds of years, and they undergo big changes. And those changes are led by people from entirely different generations than we are, right? So our country is here. And we didn't actually put it here. Our great 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 grandparents put it here, and that's it. And we were just born here. So this idea that, oh well, America will be protected from a collapse, or any of Europe could be protected from a collapse, but that's not really true, is it? That's just something that you hope won't happen. You hope your country won't collapse because, I don't know. And maybe some people actually would love to see it collapse. People who hate countries. Yeah, isn't that weird to think about? People who live in a country but also hate that country. And they're like, ooh, I hope this country collapses. It's like, I wish we could just find them and remove them. If you're living in my country and you hope that the country collapses, I wish I could remove you from the country because it doesn't make any sense to have you here. Like, it is strictly kind of like being in a very, 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 very toxic relationship. Imagine dating a woman who she's there because it's convenient for her to be there in the relationship, but really she hopes that you do poorly. I feel like people like that exist. They're usually very toxic people, and I feel like people like that exist in country. It doesn't matter which country. It doesn't have to be mine. It could be your country. It could be some other third country. But I don't understand people who have that mentality. I hope that they find a country that they like. I hope that they move to a country that they really like because it doesn't make sense for them to stay. But yeah, the collapse of a country, I often wonder how could America collapse if it were going to collapse? And one of the interesting things I was thinking about was I think it would collapse if enough of the intelligent people living in the country sort of fled the country. Do you see what I'm saying? So it would be like a brain drain. See, America became a powerful country because it brain drained the world. Basically, people came to America for the American dream. It was a country you came to where you could become wealthy with your own talents and skills. And if that were to change, if you couldn't become wealthy in America anymore based on your talent and skills, well, maybe you would just leave. You see what I'm saying? Maybe you wouldn't actually care about being here. And so I think that if America were to collapse, it would be a reverse brain drain where all the smart, clever people leave America ahead of time. And I think that the biggest driver of people leaving America will be people seeing America as too debt risky, actually. That's one of the things that makes me want to leave, seeing the amount of debt the country is in and thinking about how I didn't I didn't benefit from the debt myself. I didn't create the debt. I didn't benefit from the debt. And then thinking that my children and my grandchildren and my great grandchildren will spend their entire life living under the debt, it makes me think, no, I'd rather be in a country with less debt, essentially. Those are some of the big things that I think a great deal about. And all of the social unrest. There's so much social unrest in America. People split up into their identity groups and they essentially hate each other. And it's like, okay, so I would like to move to a place where we don't hate each other. And I don't see that working in America. I don't see a point where we like each other anymore. And honestly, I don't actually think it's the conservatives. I think it's actually the liberals who are like that. The liberals have they have morals and rules now that they didn't have back. So I've been political for a long time, right? Back in the 90s, what was being a liberal, a lot of it was like being hard to peg down, being open-minded, maybe fighting the established morals and norms. But over time, it has slowly become this new thing where it's extremely regimented in its beliefs so badly that they're attacking each other. Like what we were just talking about, Michael Bloomberg getting attacked by his own, right? He's a Democrat. Michael Bloomberg's a Democrat. And even he says something that just makes sense, like, okay, so this minority neighborhood, maybe they have a higher rate of crime, we're going to have to send the cops in there. And then he gets in trouble for that, even if it's perhaps true. Perhaps you do need more cops in that area because there is more crime. It doesn't matter to them that it might be accurate information. What matters is whether or not he followed their rules, whether or not he followed their moral beliefs, their moral codes. And that to me, it's the creepiest thing ever because it's like that was precisely what I was trying to get away from the conservatives. But here it is all over again. Here it is all over again, but it's coming from another political body, and it's not really based on like a Bible or anything, but it's the same idea. It's the same sort of moralistic tone, and the you're going to go to hell. Well, in this case, for the liberals, they don't really want you to go to hell. They want to put you in jail, which is almost worse in a way, because the conservatives would be like, ooh, you're going to get in trouble with Jesus, and you'll say, la la la, I don't care. The Democrats would be more like, oh, we're going to remove you from your job, and we're going to put you in jail and fine you for saying the wrong words. We're going to take your children away. Blah, blah, some serious stuff, right? So stuff that actually matters to me. Like, oh, those are big deals. Because when you have control of government and you're pushing sort of a I don't know, political ideology, it becomes very serious all of a sudden. It actually affects you, right? The Christians shunning you socially. You could just be like, fine, I don't want to hang out with you. You're Christians and I'm not Christians, and we won't hang out. But it's not like that when you're talking about a political group that's not a moral group that's also political, is what I'm saying. IQ is not, it's about how fast and clear you understand difficult things to be simply described. That's right. So IQ is like how good your brain is. Like, do you have a good, healthy brain that's capable of processing information very quickly and clearly and logically? That is IQ. But it's interesting because people with a high IQ are often capable of not just better reasoning. One of the things they find with people with high IQ is they have more self-control. Isn't that interesting? People with higher IQ generally have more self-control. Really, really interesting. That's something you guys ought to look up. IQ isn't your... Oh, I already read that. The one thing... The worst is the DMC is Bernie. Like him or hate him, there's no denying he's getting pegged without consent by his own party. He's getting pegged, you say? I think that the Democrats rightly see him as having dramatically changed the party, and maybe in a way that makes it impossible for them to win an election. If you guys may not, I don't know how young most of you guys in the audience are, but Obama was not actually that long ago. Obama was, one presidency ago, and when you compare the Democrat policies of the Obama era to the policies they have now, they've moved dramatically to the left. Right? So like during the Obama administration, you still couldn't get married while you were gay. This is how still fairly conservative or not to the left that the left was. But the drive for progress and change is so dramatic now with the liberal parties. This idea of, this is America, we've been a capitalist country for a long time with low taxes is a feature of living in America. And now we're going to spend $30 billion on healthcare for all and be like Europe. And it's like, that's a dramatic change, and why are we trying to be Europe? It just doesn't make sense. Like, America in general is, people here are wealthier. We have a greater military. There's just a lot going on for America. A lot of the most innovative companies in the world are still right here in America. You've got Apple, Google, Facebook, Elon Musk's whole deal. You've got Twitter was founded in America. What else was founded in America? So much stuff. So much stuff. Microsoft is an American company. Bethesda. I'm not talking about the game company Bethesda. I'm talking about the software company. AT&T. The list just goes on. Walmart's an American company. It changed the world. Walmart did. A lot of our fast food companies changed the world, right? So America is this country of innovation and industry and success, and now Bernie Sanders says, no, we need to be a country of Europe. And it's like, wait, why are we trying to copy Europe? This has been working so well for us. So this has been a dramatic change for the Democrat Party to sort of jump over to this, quote, liberal socialism, which is, in my view, just basically socialism. I've never seen it any other way. They're like, no, we're going to be like Denmark. Yeah, but you missed the part where Denmark is just one small group of the same people, right? So if you want to be like Denmark, we got to do that, right? If you want to be like Denmark, if you want to be like Switzerland, we got to take all the people and condense them down to the same people. We're not going to have massive immigration from all kinds of countries in our country. We're just going to have one concentrated group of the same homogenous people, right? They don't talk about that. Oh man, socialist Denmark, socialist Switzerland. Oh snap. The only one who could win an election against Trump today would be Booty Judge. Booty Judge. I like it. Got him. Pete Booty Judge. Walmart changed the world. It did. Walmart did a lot of innovative things, actually. One of the things that grocery store chains, well, remember, Walmart wasn't even a grocery chain store at the beginning. It was a retail store. One of the brilliant things that Walmart did was, a lot of stores in the past, the way they operated is you had these brand name, like companies. For example, you might be talking about Kraft or Coca-Cola or Hormel. Is it Hormel? Hormel. It might be Hormel. Right, and all those food companies are all American companies as well, by the way. But what they would do is, in a store, they would actually buy shelf space. That's what they used to do. And Walmart said, no, you're going to get the shelf space for free here at Walmart. But what you're going to do is you're going to offer your product for cheaper here than anywhere else in any other store. So you're going to get to put your product right here in our shelves here in Walmart, and we're not going to charge you any money for it. And then you're going to offer our consumers the cheapest price. This was a huge innovation and it's one of the reasons why the prices were lower, right? That's how they advertised themselves, was based essentially on price. And then also the logistics for Walmart was a kind of a new invention as well. Walmart did these really innovative things with logistics, where their biggest concern about improving retail was in improving the logistical process of obtaining goods and getting them there cheaply and getting them onto the shelves cheaply. Being able to create cheaper goods and provide people with more goods at a lower cost, it changes the world dramatically. It's why Amazon has been such a big deal as well. Walmart's trying to copy Amazon essentially. They're trying to compete directly with Amazon online. So it's really interesting. I don't know how well they'll do. I actually don't shop on Amazon that often. Do you guys know that? Do you guys shop on Amazon a lot? I don't actually shop on Amazon a lot. Nice, we got them. Learning from the Downs makes you know more about it. Grandfather says Scandinavian countries are not socialist. The only thing that makes a country socialist is government ownership of the means of production. Bernie misses this point, and it's important to understand. It's always well, yeah. I think that what the Democrats would say if you told them that, though, is that they want liberal or democratic socialism, whatever they're calling it. They're saying we want the government to give us health care. We want the government to give us education. I was trying to, and people who say, oh, those countries aren't socialist, well, they kind of are, because you take a look at them and the tax rate in those countries is like 50% or higher. So that's exactly what Bernie Sanders is talking about. He's saying we could be like that. We could be like Denmark. We could be like we could be like Sweden, or right. So this is essentially what he's saying. And when a conservative comes and says, well, they're not really socialist, it's kind of a weak position for the conservative in that case, because that's not what they're talking about. They're not talking about well, anyways, so you get the point with that. Let me move on to my position on that as well, though. It comes down to who you have in your country. So I've always believed, actually, that democratic socialism can work. Even real socialism and communism can work. If you look at China, it's the second most powerful country in the world, right? they can work. It depends on who you have in your country and what your actual political system is like. And the thing is, you could have a country like, I don't know, let's just name one, Denmark, right? And I was explaining this in another live stream. If you have like 4 scientists and then like 50 people who do a useless job like putting bread on the shelves at Walmart, the 4 scientists earn enough money to take care of the 50 people. But if you moved into another country with a different ratio, let's say you moved into America and there was one scientist for every 200 people that put breads on a shelf at Walmart, he doesn't earn enough to pay for all of them. And this is a very delicate sort of equation going on here that people don't understand. So when they say, how are you going to afford? How are you going to afford, Medicare for all? And he comes out with this ridiculous number, this ridiculous 34,000 billion trillion, right? He comes out with this huge number. That's what's going on underneath that number. The reason the number is so large is because there's so many people that aren't actually paying very high taxes themselves. They're not really generating that much taxes. And that's why he comes out and he admits, well, we're going to have to raise taxes on the middle class quite substantially, and it'll save them money. I don't really think it will, though. That's an issue of debate, because that's the next thing. I'm willing to bet that Scandinavians make healthier life choices than Americans. So it's so much more complicated than just having a hunch or thinking that, oh, socialism, that sounds fun and hip. Let me try that. It's always so much more than that to actually make a decision and go, oh, this is going to be good for us. This will actually work financially. Oh, look at us financially now. We have so much debt. Something's not working financially. And the Democrats are saying, well, what we need now is to spend more. And that's like, are you really? And then on the flip side, you have Donald Trump saying, we'll give you a tax cut. And this also will increase the deficit, again, because it's just you taking money from the government. Well, not taking money from the government, but it's like a different form of taking, isn't it? Because normally the taxes that would have arrived didn't arrive because of the tax break. The exploitation of the systems by the rampant immigration issue of the last 30 years didn't help. That's Zilia saying that. Let's be fair, the description only works for Marxist socialism. China isn't even, I'm reading comments right now. Retrog says China isn't even actually communist anymore. Sure, there's communist part. Oh, they're communist. Yes, they are communist. They allow a free market, capitalist market to exist, right, in their business. They're still communist. They're still unelected leaders. So don't be confused on that. Unelected leaders. Let's try socialism. Every failing or failed country ever, says Timber Selick. But then everyone points to the Scandinavian countries. Oh, but it works for them. Will we really be them, though? I challenge Democrats to really think about that. Will we really be the Scandinavian countries? So you're telling me, look around at your average American and think about their intelligence. And consider half of them are stupider than that, okay? Look around at your average American and ask yourself, how smart are they really? You ever seen the freak out videos on YouTube? Think about that for a minute. You ever seen the levels of crime in America, the drugs and gangs and all that stuff? Think about that for a second. You're thinking to yourself, hey, if we just take everyone's money and throw it at them, the problem is solved. I don't really think that works. See, my in-laws, my wife's parents, they struggle with money. There's no amount of money we could give them that will fix their problem. The problem is them. They make bad financial choices over and over and over again. And we tell them, hey, you got to make better choices. Here are the better choices. They totally ignore it. There's just nothing you can do about it. It's a change that has to come from within them. And if they were capable of making that change, I think that, yeah, we could just throw money at them and this would absolutely fix it. But the first thing that has to happen is they have to realize we can't continue being this way. So there's a point where my wife and I kind of realized we can't keep spending. Actually, her brother just realized this as well. We can't just keep spending money on them, because the problem is not that there's not enough money. Their whole life they've had money. They were the recipients of a generous trust fund. Her parents were, and somehow they're so poor now that she and I, with our student debt, we're the ones taking care of them financially. It is because of their significant waste and their inability to make choices that just are good with money is silly. And again, so this is one of the problems. This is one of the challenges for Democrats is thinking, hey, we can just take money from the system and fix everyone. It's like, but can you? Or do people kind of have to fix themselves? And that's more of a conservative position saying, oh, we have to fix ourselves, right? Well, obviously, I think that the correct position is a little bit in the middle there, right? So it's a little bit in the middle. The system is capable of producing help for people who need help at the right time. Think about somebody who's become, think of a man who's generally a very, he's a very productive man and he's done things right for most of his life, and the economy tanks and now he has no job and he's about to lose his home, but we inject government money into his hands and say, keep your home, don't lose your home in the sale, a whole bunch of money is going to be lost, we're going to help you out with some government money. And then, he eventually gets a new job and he starts earning again and his house was never lost. And so this is a perfect example of the government making a financial investment in somebody that pays off in the long run, right? So his life isn't ruined by the falling economy. That's a great example of like the system actually really doing a great job. And it's one of the best cases that the Democrats have is something of the similar example, right? Similar analogy. You could argue like, oh, the public school system, right? It's the same idea. Everyone pays into the public school system, and then because everyone's smarter, we have a better labor force, and the children go out and they get better jobs, and then the children, they go out and they earn more taxes than they otherwise would have. This is an investment. So when you say the government is capable of making investments that individuals are not, this is one of the best arguments that Democrats have when they want to go and spend public money. Then you have other problems, like what we were talking about earlier, the gang violence in St. Louis City, for example. Where did it all come from? How do you stop it? It's like, can people just not choose to not join gangs? Oh, there we go. Can people not just choose to not join gangs? Seems like it would be very easy to just not join a gang. Again, we have the internet, right? We're not stupid anymore, are we? The year 2020. Go on the goddamn internet and ask Google, should I join a gang? It's almost ridiculous to think that you would even ask the question, right? So why does MS-13 exist? Why does it exist? I think it's just violent people who enjoy being violent. And so my question, if you want to live in a civil society, my question is, why do you even let these people exist here? Like, if you're not going to round them up and, I don't know, toss them in jail or even just kill them once you've found out that they've committed serious crimes, uh, you at least must stop them from getting into the society in the first place. I'm speaking about gangs specifically. But it's like people don't even want to do that on the left, it seems sometimes. That would be too mean or something. I don't know. How do Democrats actually feel about gangs? Are they okay with gangs? If Michael Bloomberg says that, hey, minority neighborhoods have more violence and we need extra cops to go deal with that, is that Michael Bloomberg the racist, or is that Michael Bloomberg the pragmatist? Is that the right word? Being pragmatic. Vitor Malucho says, you are lacking empathy. I would argue that you are naive. Actually, I think I'm a very empathic person, if that's the right word. I have a lot of empathy for people, but I'm not naive. So just think of my wife's parents again. We've actually thrown a lot of money at them because we wouldn't be happy with ourselves if we didn't try to help them. We would feel guilty. We want them to do well. But we also realize that they have a problem that we can't help them with. And that's, I think, one of the problems with the Democrats is thinking, oh yeah, we can just solve everything. No, sometimes people have to fix it themselves, and there's nothing you can do about that. And you have to accept that you can't force people to be better. You can't force people to make smarter decisions in life, stop drinking, stop joining gangs. You can get rid of gangs, but they actually have to decide, okay, I'm not going to rape this girl. Does that make sense? So I would say I have plenty of empathy, and that a lot of the times people are very naive and taken advantage of. That's how I see the world at this point. You're naive, maybe even arrogant sometimes. I think that was when I was a Democrat myself in college, and I look back at my point of view on things, I think I was kind of arrogant. I think thinking that I could help everyone was almost a sort of, oh, I'm a moral authority. And, oh, poor you, let me help you. I'm better than the conservatives. Let me help you. I see your problems. I'm going to help. It was sort of an arrogance, actually, for me personally. But then it's not just always arrogance. I think a lot of it is naivety, and you don't talk about it very much that way. Fighter says empathy as you're failing to put yourself in their place. I didn't have that. No, but I did have that problem. If you could look up I don't know how you would look at my history even. I was in their position. I had an extremely violent family. I left when I was 17 years old. I spent time fully homeless outside. I didn't know the government could help you. And then I spent the last, I suppose it'd be 13, 14 years with no family at all. No safety net if something went wrong in my life. Absolutely no safety net at all. And I just worked from that point in my life to this point in my life where things are good. So the idea, oh, you've never been in their shoes. Oh, yes, I have. Yes, I have. Well, when I was homeless, it was summertime. It would be like 100 degrees outside, and I would stay indoors in the library the whole day because that's all I could do to just keep myself from like being outside and overheating, right? And there was no food. You'd be thinking, how am I going to obtain food? So, oh, you don't know how tough their life. Oh man, my father's a criminal, and my mother probably should have been in trouble with the law as well for what she's done. Yeah. Oh, you don't even know, man. I hate it when people say that. Oh no, moral high ground. What? I'm curious about the gang thing. Did you see Joe Rogan interview with Daryl Davis? I did not. You are failing to see the way people see gang is his best choice. Gang is never your best choice, Vitor. Do you really believe that being part of a gang is ever your best choice? I would argue anyone who really thinks being in a gang is their best choice is very uneducated, and probably they need to spend about 2 minutes on the internet doing research on gangs. 2 minutes. Libraries are free for most people, by the way. Google's free if you can just access the internet. A gang is never your best choice. A gang might be the most comfortable choice, right? That's why we drink alcohol, because it makes you feel better. That does not make it your best choice. I don't think you believe it's the best choice either. All right, let's get moving. Let's get moving. Let's beat this guy up. Have you ever visited your parents since then? I've not. I don't even know what they look like. It's actually really horrible to think about. My memories of my parents are what they looked like 12 years ago. I don't really know I'm sure they look like grandparents now. That is the point. In this person's mind, it is the best choice. Well, and that's why I'm trying to say, to the Democrats, do you not see that the greater problem lies within the individual in this case? How much money can you throw at a person and they still believe something like, oh yeah, being in a gang is good? How do you actually change someone's beliefs on something like that? Because that's what I would want to do, is kind of teach them, no, your best choice is not being in a gang. And you probably in this case, you don't need a lot of empathy. I don't actually have a lot of empathy for gang members. So I would tell them, hey, get out of the fucking gang. It's bad for you. You know what I mean? It's sort of like a motherly approach versus a fatherly approach. Maybe if you're sad and your life has been difficult, you want your mom to come in and rub your balls. But actually what you need is your dad to come over to you, hit you over the head with a golf club, and tell you to stop being a big fucking idiot. That's probably what you need right now, especially guys who are in gangs. Mom doesn't need to come wipe your ass for you. You're 18 years old. You're considered an adult now. Now it's time for you to make smart choices for yourself or go to jail. Oh, you need to have empathy. No, your mom's there for empathy. Society's not your mom. See what I'm saying? Society's not your mom. And people who really believe that it's your job to feel empathy for somebody in a gang, you're being taken advantage of, honestly. You're naive. I don't get the hate. Gangs are just in real life clans. Great comment. How much money is to have their safety net? I don't really know what you mean by that question. I had no safety net. I had no parents, no family that was going to help me at all. If I made a mistake in life, I was going to go homeless. Really straightforward. And I never did. Because I constantly tried to make the best choices, and I showed up to work a lot. Actually, sometimes I look back on it, and I think that being homeless for a brief while and then having no safety net forced me to grow up very fast, and it forced me to make good choices for myself because I realized how bad it was going to be if I didn't. because I knew how awful it was, and I was still young and able to make clear decisions and blah 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 blah. I'm not going to go on about it all and stroke my ego or anything. I'm very proud of where I am in life at this point because it was so difficult in the past. It's like night and day, honestly. So I'm very happy with where I am in life, educated and married and enjoying this very wicked awesome job. And and when somebody has maybe they don't have the belief that they could also reach a point of life where they're living in the middle class and maybe even earning a decent wage, it's like that's what's holding you back right there, is believing those kind of stupid ideas that, oh no, the system's against me and there's no way I could just get a job and pay normal taxes like everyone and not steal and not have 3 baby mommies or whatever it is. You know what I mean? People who actually believe that stuff, you're holding yourself back. And I hate thinking that there are people who actually believe that stuff. Oh, you've got to hold my hand and be my mommy in order for me to succeed. You need to give me empathy. No, you need to go clock into work and not do drugs, please. It's bad for you. Everyone knows it's bad for you, but you still do it. It's so weird. Humans have so much trouble doing what they're supposed to do. We really do. It's one of those things that is like perpetually fascinating for me. Humans increasingly know what they should be doing, but they just don't do it. It's really weird. And Democrats think you can just throw money at it and this fixes it all. And to a degree, I think they're right, but only to a degree. Only to a degree. Only somewhat. You can't go bankrupt trying to throw money at it. And I think that America is very nearly bankrupt. The conversation as my career field is triggering about people thinking gangs can be a good choice. Oh right, Wellix is a correctional officer. Right, so you probably see a lot of this stuff. Tactical Packy says, how old are you? I turned 31 in April, so I'm an old man. Harsh conditions can be the best thing for you in life. I had somebody actually ask me that earlier, if maybe not having my parents and all that was a good thing, but actually it gives me a lot of grief constantly. I have almost like nightmares. They're not like scary nightmares, they're just unhappy nightmares where my brain knows something's not right, like I don't have a family, those kind of feelings, right? But at the same time, yeah, it actually forced me to make a lot of smart decisions in life and to just kind of grow up very quickly, and that was healthy in a different way. Zelia says, they know it's bad for you, rules don't apply inwards. I know, right? Don't do drugs, get laid. What? You should do drugs and get laid. You can have it all. Use ammo to buff Kinsex and use fewer vaults when. What? Here, let's go over here. You're right. I should be doing that. I knew somebody who was a product of child support system abuse. She had a fricked up life, and I don't even know where she's at now. Wasn't in the best place last time I saw her. Hope she's doing okay. I think it's a chemical imbalance to want to do an illogical thing. Yeah, I don't know. People say stuff like that. Chemical imbalance. The question between whether humans are just strictly this sort of, oh, you're a robot, you don't have any free will. How many of you guys really believe humans have no free will? It's a very complex question. It changes everything in terms of how you want to operate your politics. Although for me, politics, I'm very utilitarian in my thoughts about what should be done in a political system. Very utilitarian and pragmatic, and I do strongly believe in nature and natural selection. So all those things apply to me. But there's a very interesting moral question of whether or not humans have free will. And this is a very serious question. Do humans have free will? Because if you don't have free will, this actually, even though this sounds like the edgy sort of liberal, atheist, clever thoughts, is actually a very dangerous idea too, because if it turns out humans don't have free will, and the reason criminals do crime is because, their hardware makes them do the crime, and they have no free will, this will almost certainly lead to horrible racism, and I don't want to say genocide, but just at least horrible racism, and people who are believing certain races are superior because perhaps they commit less crime. So for example, if you go to Japan, they actually commit very, very little crime. And you could say, well, it's their culture that teaches them not to commit crime, a culture of respecting your ancestors and bringing honor to your family. You could say it's the culture. But if you were to actually believe there is no free will and it's all based on actually your internal hardware, your brain, the brain that you inherited genetically, this will almost certainly lead to very horrible racism. You'll say, oh, well, You have crime in your country because the people in your country are born that way. You're born violent, right? You're born violent. So this is a very interesting topic, the issue of free will. When you believe that free will does exist, you're able to say, okay, it's not how you're born, it's the choices you make later in life. You can choose to make good choices and bad choices. See, and people who believe in free will believe you can choose good choices and bad choices. And yeah, so it's a very, very important conversation to have. And it's one of those things, kind of like, what is personhood? It's one of those bigger questions we rarely have an answer to. But it's a very important one. Free will. Do we have free will? Are you just bound to be good or bad because you were born that way? That's a very serious question. If we had an answer to that, you could make some very large political decisions for your country right away. Like, who are we going to let in our country? People who follow the law, right? And anyone who doesn't follow the law, you would say, well, they were born that way, and there's nothing we can do to fix them. That's what you would say. So it's a very serious conversation. It's really fun to listen to people talk about it too, because both sides have pretty strong positions to make on it. The U.S. is beyond saving, just turning into one big parking lot. Oh, come on. He's a doomer. He's a doomer. How's it going, Crazy Official? I think you're misinterpreting determinism. I think I'm getting poopied on by Ian Gruga. Whee! Jungle says, if free will doesn't exist, why do I keep watching cock and ball torture videos? let's catch up to this guy. Where's he going? Oh, here we got our Raider Rider. Yay! Wait, can I? Oh my god, I can't climb on him because of the friggin' Rajang. Crazy Official says you just got a sub because you play Monster Hunter. Wow, it's so easy. Stonks. Thank you very much, man. I do appreciate that. I do not take for granted all of the audience. I've had the pleasure of getting to talk with all of you guys. I have that second YouTube channel that I'm working on, and I watch it grow in just the smallest amounts ever. It reminds me what it was like to have a much smaller channel and how much work you really have to put into it to try and make it grow. It's quite a lot. So I'm lucky to have you guys watching. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm about to give a huge giveaway, and then we're going to play Raid Shadow Legends. Where's he going? I don't understand. He's like flying all over the place. Listening to this as a non-American feels weird. How's it going, Jasper? Where are you from? Tell me about the troubles of your country. Zelia says, I can't wait to get government drugs to keep me happy and the Facebook reality interface so I can just slowly die watching Pretty Colors. Well, Pretty Colors or E-Girls? Which one? Probably the E-Girls, right? Package dealer says, if free will doesn't exist, why am I abdicated to drinking motor oil? Can we just capture him? I don't want to fight him. I find it funny that you have to wait for them to kind of go to sleep now. E-girls are made of pretty colors. That's right. I keep telling my wife she needs to be an e-girl. I tell her, why are you a computer scientist? E-girls probably get paid way more. Drew says, I'm Australian, so hearing a lot of this doesn't make sense to me. Oh, really? Some of the ideas we were talking about aren't really related to just America. They're sort of universal ideas. Scroll through all this. I can't wait for Democrats to take my money and pay off everyone's student loans. Yeah. Yeah, that one, oh man. You guys probably remember me kind of going crazy for a while when I figured out that 3/4 of the student debt is held by women. That was the number, wasn't it? Let me look it up again. How much of the USA student debt is owned by women? Oh, it's 2/3, not 3/4. 2/3 is less than that. Women hold $929 billion of debt. They're 2/3 of the student loan debt. So there's going to be a lot of guys who decided, nah, I'm not going to go to college. I'm going to get a hardcore job, as a handyman, construction, carpentry. Maybe you're doing a dirty job. Maybe you clean the sewers. That's a guy's job. There's almost no women doing it. So maybe you go underground into the sewage and you clean the sewage out for everyone. And then you got these girls, and everyone's like, oh, girls outperforming men in colleges. Oh, men not earning enough. Women don't want to marry them. And then at the same time, you're told, yeah, go ahead and pay off our student loans for us. Thanks. Talk about privilege. That's so bad. It's like shockingly bad. The people who get shafted more than anyone else are the poor who didn't go to school. It's exactly why I'm against, those sort of policies. Is so ridiculous. Socialism works really well for the people who are in control of the distribution of the money. And that's generally how it works out. You get some people, it's just a redistribution of the money, and so somebody actually does end up wealthy, and it's usually someone at the top again. It's somebody who didn't earn the money this time, but they're up at the top again. Let's join these guys to hunt the silver rathalos. This looks fun. Oh, failed to join quest. Lightning crashes. Oh, we'll help with this one. School should be free, period. Period. I agree that up to high school should be free. Higher education, I don't actually agree with paying for other people's higher education. I think the problem with higher education right now is you're essentially paying all of these professors somewhere in the range of $60,000 to $120,000 a year for them to teach you a skill that does not get you a job. And then what they have you do is they make you pay them this by having you pull out a huge loan, and then you're basically a slave to the you're a slave to the bank, to the loan, to the government. It's not a bank loan; it's a government loan. So you're a slave to this loan for the next 5 years, maybe 10 years, maybe 15 years of your life, so that this guy can teach you an irrelevant subject in college. And then the idea that, oh, well, we can fix the problem by just making everyone pay for it. No, that does not fix the problem. The problem would be fixed if you went to school for classes that were actually a good investment. That would actually also taking out the control of making a huge student loan out of the control of the hands of the children and putting it into the hands of maybe something who understands the return, the return of investment. I'm sorry. I think I said that right. The return on investment on these loans, right? So if you're 18 years old and you want to go to dance theater for school or fine arts for like $40,000, the government doesn't discriminate against your loan choice. So there's two very different types of loans you can go for. You can go for a fine arts loan, or you can go for a loan on a computer science degree. And the idea that you can just take loans out, max them out on either one of those is absolutely silly. It's really silly. Hello from France. How's it going from France? You are the best to listen to. Relaxing voice. Oh, glad you joined. Wilhelm says the blue-collar jobs are paying very well. I've heard of that. I've actually heard being a plumber can pay extremely well, especially if you work like in your own business, essentially, like if you run like a contractor, basically, right? The solution is easy. Don't hand out student loans. Yeah, exactly. Things can be free, but free for whom? Because there's no free lunch. How to fix that problem? Everyone can't get a scholarship. Well, exactly. It's funny. Not everyone gets the job that they want either. I think a lot of young people actually forget about that part. So when it comes to all kinds of issues like who's going to date who gets to immigrate into your country, who goes to which school, who gets to get a nice job as opposed to a bad job, you guys missed the part where in almost all these cases is based on your not your intrinsic values, but outside measurable characteristics of who you are. How good are you? Like how good do you look? Are you moving into a country with a great deal of wealth, or do you intend to hop on the welfare system? How smart are you? Are you really good at doing math? You're going to do well in school, so you're going to get into the fancy college. How hard of a worker are you? It's funny, you can be really smart and still a bad worker. So all of these companies and all of the schools, they're so good at discriminating. That's what they do. That's their job essentially, is to discriminate and to find the people who are worth investing. Oops, what did I just do there? So it's very interesting. Even when we date, we're constantly discriminating against each other, and we do it very easily. So you look at a girl and you go, nah, you're a fat cow. I'm not going to date you, right? You don't say it out loud. Or maybe some guys, if you're really volatile, you do say it out loud because that's just the way you are. You just say it out loud. Nah, you're a fat cow. I'm not going to date you. And you don't feel bad about it at all. But then, you get mad when two people get paid differently. And it's like, well, there you go. Well, it applies to women as well. They're like, oh, we don't get paid the same, right? This is one that we've constantly heard. We don't get paid the same. We don't get paid the same. But then also they'll find a guy who's just a little too short for them. They go, nah, you're not touching my pussy. You got to be a little bit taller. You got to be a little bit better, right? So humans discriminate against each other because we're competitive. It's all part of like natural selection in my eyes. It's always been part of natural selection. Who you get to have sex with is part of natural selection. You have to find some way to impress somebody. Well, it's the same way with getting the job that you want. It's all about impressing the company. You need to impress that company. And you can't just have the job just because you want the job. But I think young people very much would like it to be designed so that the government just says, all right, everyone's going to have their jobs redistributed in this specific way. Or like, even if you don't get the job that you want, the government just takes care of all your things for you. They're like, well, you didn't get the good job because you don't have any skills, but we're going to pay for all your stuff anyways. Don't worry about it. Right? I think a lot of people would like that, but it's just not the way it really works, though, in the end, does it? Because only one person's generating all that wealth. And if you take that person and you increase the taxes on them enough that they're looking out in the world and going, I could take all my wealth to Scotland. Well, you lose them to Scotland. And then guess what? Rather than paying the taxes you want him to pay, he pays 0 taxes. No taxes at all in your country because he left. Right? He broke up with your country, the person. This is on the issue of hating wealthy people. Oh, I hate wealthy people. Well, enjoy not having any in your country. See how that works out for you. You know what I mean? I'll never understand all the hate toward wealthy people. It's so, if you want to use the term, it's so immoral. Will this work? No. You gotta get all mad now. Here, let's grab this over here. To create new things, the most different things you know, the better. E.g., Steve Jobs talked about how calligraphy helped him with Mac and later PC and evolution. Right, and I could make a case, oh yeah, Pornhub helped me make better content on YouTube. Right, that's great. You can go take a calligraphy class. If it's so valuable for you, if you're going to be the next Steve Jobs, then it's probably not going to be too hard for you to take out a very small student loan, a reasonable student loan, to go take a class in calligraphy, right? So you don't even have to spend that anymore. One of the biggest problems, so for Steve Jobs back then, there probably were no easy ways to learn calligraphy because YouTube hadn't really become a thing yet, right? Nowadays, you can get on YouTube and everyone will teach you everything, right? You want to learn how to rub your balls the right way, you can find out how to do that on YouTube for free. So our education system is antiquated, is what I'm saying. It's a very old, antiquated system. And we've got a better system now. And this idea that, oh, well, Steve Jobs, he took calligraphy. It's like, that's great for Steve Jobs, but also, do you know what the price of education was back then for Steve Jobs? It was nothing. It wasn't anything back then. It was very cheap, and now it's very expensive. And now you can learn calligraphy for free on YouTube. Things have changed dramatically. And now young people are saying, oh my God, you need to pay for my calligraphy classes. I'm saying, no, it's really expensive because everyone keeps going for calligraphy. Learn it on YouTube for free, you frick. Or, pull out a student loan, which is fine, but you're going to pay that student loan because the argument centers around whether or not somebody else should pay for it for you. The point is that at the time he took calligraphy, he didn't know he needed it. Well, if that's the case, if you use that logic, shouldn't you take a class on literally every single thing there is to know in life? Because you never know when it's going to come in handy. For example, all those things Steve Jobs did, if he hadn't taken calligraphy, he couldn't have done them. It's very bad logic, man. Oh, there we go. We grabbed him. How will you not know you like something unless someone shows it to you? Oh, go watch a video on YouTube. I don't know. Viter, that's the thing. Again, I hear what you're saying with Steve Jobs. You're saying Steve Jobs realized later how valuable it was to learn calligraphy for him. You can learn calligraphy for free on YouTube. Really, you can. There's probably tons of channels now that are happy. They put in hundreds of hours of work into making how to do good calligraphy guides. You don't need to pay, $4,000 for a class on calligraphy, which is probably what you would pay now. You'd pay about $4,000. Steve Jobs would have paid like $200, almost nothing. He would have paid almost nothing to learn calligraphy. Now it's like $4,000 and it's for free on YouTube. It's amazing. You can do it for free. You can learn all about it. So that's the point that I keep trying to make. He's gonna fall over. No, still not falling over. I learned it off YouTube. It doesn't look that well. Why does my CS program require literature courses? Exactly! I was in computer science and they required all these I took creative writing in computer science. Nothing about computer science has ever actually required creative writing. None of it. But it fulfilled one of my, one of the courses that I had to take. So stupid, dude. And I'll tell you why it's like that. It's because they need to fill those classes up with money. I'm a little battery for them. I'm like a wage slave for them in another way. I'm just this guy who they can extract money out of. This younger, naive guy, and they can extract money out of me because what am I going to do? Go to the next college? The next college does the same thing. So my other option is to just not get a degree. That's my other option. Which, looking back on it, that's what I would have chosen. That's what I would have chosen. Because it turns out, when it comes to computer science, the demand is so large for computer science programmers, softwares who are actually skilled. It's so large, they will definitely accept you without your degree. All you have to do is prove that you can actually code. That's all you need to do is prove you can code. And the moment you have industry experience, by the way, they don't require your degree for that either. They're literally importing people from other countries because there's not enough American students who can code. Yeah, absolutely silly. Oh, snap, that's loud. My bad. Forgot my volume was turned all the way up.
I don't know how you're still awake.
Slade!
I'm now at work grinding for the man.
Grinding for the man. Don't worry, man. I got 2 baby mamas, and I can't afford those babies, and I don't really like the mamas in the first place. So I'm gonna go chill out over here and play some Monster Hunter. You don't mind paying for their WIC checks, do you? Nah, you don't mind. Thanks for the $45. Well, that's a payment, guys. He bought some cards off of me is what happened there. I don't really like those baby mamas anyways. They was stinky. Is it raining outside? It sounds like it's raining outside. I think it's raining. I can code hello world. How would you like to pay for it? But the children are so sad. Oh, you lack empathy. Oh, man. I think actually the world is extremely easy to guilt. I'm going to do a Sarah McLachlan sad people video and get your money from you. That's what I'm going to do. In the arms of an angel. A bit off topic, which variant you wish to come to Iceport? I've heard we're getting a variant for Brachydios and Rajang based on data mining. That's what I've heard. It could just be a fake rumor. Probably it's a fake rumor, okay? There's a guy I've never heard from before, and he's basically saying, oh yeah, this is what I heard. My uncle niece's nephew once said. That's basically my source of information here. The problem with us is that it's too easy to go to university. Everyone finishes high school now because we made it impossible to fail, so the natural progression is university. Yes, exactly. The point of university was to find out who was better than other people. That was the whole point of it. The whole point of it was to find out who was actually skilled. So companies could look at your degree and go, oh shit, he finished this degree? He is skilled, man. That was the whole point of it. But now, because there's so much money involved, schools do not have an interest in kicking you out of school, guys. Do you understand? There's so much money involved. The schools are better off when you stay inside the school like a little money battery for them, and they just keep soaking off of you. So they're like, oh, you all got Fs? Let's do a little grade curve for you. Yeah, okay. We'll do a little grade curve, and that's okay. You can stay, and you know, the students rate you better if you do the grade curves too, right? Like, students like the teacher who curved the grade because of their better GPS. but it's sort of a grade inflation is what it is, and it's fake. And people think that there's no harm in this. There actually is harm in this. You're going to be paid less, and you're going to find that the companies don't care about your degree. They're going to be like, all right, but what's your experience? Oh, how am I supposed to have experience? Well, they want to know your experience because they know that your degree is garbage. That's what it is. They know your degree doesn't really represent any real life valuable skills that can produce money for the actual company. I have my degree. They're like, yep, you got a stupid piece of paper. So does every stupid person, because the school is trying to like pump you guys in at crazy amounts so that the school can make enough money to pay all of its, all of its administrative staff. Vitor Maluko says, no, it was, never was. Ah, yes. No, it was, never was. Mr. Pink says, how many hours till the 2 variants reveal? 12 hours. Furious Rajang is just Savage Devil Joe. What? Greta's parents should have told her to go to school. What? That's racist. Developers don't code as much as you think, but it's more about application designing. Well, you know, it depends on what job you have, I'm sure, actually. Teachers who have too many students fail or have bad grades get fired. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, well, everyone's getting bad grades. That must mean you're a bad teacher, right? Exactly. But, and again, well, they wouldn't get fired if the schools were more interested in the integrity of the degree than in basically selling as many degrees as possible to stupid kids who are going $50,000 into debt. It's like, man, it's heyday. It's time to make our money, man. What? Oh, okay, he did get knocked over. I was like, you better get knocked over. He's grabbed. Yay, we did it.
Threat eliminated. Let's do and complete our mission.
What are you up to over there, little kitty? My cat's out. She's been sleeping all night, not me, though. Are you guys enjoying the stream? Let me know. Let me know. I play Insect Glaive. Can you show your build later? It is impossible for me to show this build because it is too pure and too powerful. My cat's going to unplug my wire here. She's rubbing her face all over the wires. Jaden says, a bachelor's degree makes you less hireable. Well, I wouldn't go that far. No, I wouldn't go that far. I'm just saying that you're paying a very high price for paper that's been kind of lowering in value over time, as everyone owns one. Many people with degrees think they're worthless more than they are. Or they're worth more than they are. I see. I read that wrong. Well, it says, that's why so many grades get inflated and just have people barely pass instead of fail. I always hated that. I had a very dedicated teacher get in trouble in a high school because no one cared about his class. It was math. My computer science classes all have attendance now because computer science kids realized the lecture is useless. The only things that people should study are the things which degrees are required to get in the door. Yes, I would say that's actually a pretty good assessment as well. So if your degree isn't in a high demand field, the other reason why you might pursue that degree is because it's a degree that ends in a license. Okay, so if the place where you live requires a license for a particular type of job, that would be a good reason to pursue that degree. I want to gain the knowledge of having a bigger peepee. Well, you're in luck. I'm here to celebrate the fact that I'm selling gains. I don't know what I'm going with this joke. This is a terrible joke. What do you guys think? Penis enlargement pills for this channel? Oh, that's right. Alex Jones does like the male enhancement, doesn't he? You guys ready for me to sell male enhancement whatevers? I'm in. I'm ready. Scores of wars. So we've been doing the Insect Glaive for a little while. It's okay. Honestly, I just feel like I'm grinding right now. I don't really feel like... And that's the problem with this game right now. There's too much grinding and there's not enough boss fights. Where are the boss fights? Where's the flavor? Get a string heavyweight, then add gravity. Oh, PP degree. Sign me up. If I wasn't a YouTuber, I would want to be a sex therapist. What am I doing? Says the last book I read was Mitch Abbott's Phone Call from Heaven. Oh no. Engineering is crazy in Australia. Some things are curved so hard that a 20% is an A. Huh. I don't know what that means, but that sounds like a lot. Mark Zaragoza says, Gameconomist, go to sleep. Yeah, it's probably getting closer to my bedtime, guys. Jump over here to the canteen. We have some fun conversations, you know. I think that's probably what I enjoy the most about live streaming. It's funny, we're supposed to be playing Monster Hunter, but we end up talking about a lot of other interesting subjects. Symphonia says, I enjoy your Grinding Land streams because you talk off topic. I know whenever it's a grind and I'm not really thinking about what I'm doing, I end up talking about something else that I find interesting rather than the actual game. Hey, that was CNN news that we started talking about a while back. Let's see what's going on with Fox News. Those are like two opposites, right? So let's see. Tiny Granite State town kicks off primary with wee hours votes and gives these candidates early leads. Early leads? Let's see who's doing well in New Hampshire. Do-do-do. I don't want to read this article. I just want to see the charts. Oops. We better depart. I wonder who will do well in New Hampshire. The Democrat Party's choice is either to cheat Bernie Sanders or to self-destruct. I think basically the argument here is if the Democrat Party does allow Bernie Sanders to run, he's too radical of a choice for the swing voters in America. I think that's the argument there. Cruise ship stranded amid corona fears. 3 nations refuse to help. Oh man, that's like a nightmare. They're going to make a movie out of that someday. Man. Alright, let's get back to it. Nothing real interesting from that website. Let's jump up here. These live streams are bonding moments, says the package dealer. That's right, now we're all best friends, and we can all touch each other's peepees. When my university was founded in 1402, the primary purpose was to select the best workers for all those private companies who needed them, and not to further knowledge and science. Well, I mean, I think what you're saying that ironically, I'm sure, right? The point of the universities was for furthering knowledge and science, but actually, was it not a group of very well-off men funneling their money together and then basically saying, all right, we're going to keep each other educated and pass our wealth down to our sons? That was the original creation of that, or it was like the Catholics, right? The Catholics and some other religions would create universities for science and knowledge, right? But that was the primary cause of the colleges was to keep men wealthy, was it not? Somebody correct me on this if I'm wrong, if I don't remember it correctly. Yeah, there were some rich dudes, and you could go back to different times, right? Like, you know, you could go back way further in time. There's some point where it's like, oh, well, we're doing this for knowledge, but I mean, what do we really do with knowledge? You take your knowledge and you become more productive with it, and you make money with it. That's, oh, I'm just gonna sit here and write books all day. We're way past that point. I'm making some builds and send them to you, and they are all based on speedrunners, all with Health Boost 3. Sounds good, man. I hate business. I hate industry. He says on his laptop. I did it. I dodged the roar. Ouch. They created knowledge because they were interested in shit and studied because they could. Right, but they were almost always wealthy, right? Do you understand that? So it wasn't the poor working class that was able to attend college. It was the wealthy who were able to attend college. And often the reason that they attended was so that they could actually stay ahead strategically. They could stay ahead the lower class. That was the point. And they didn't allow women in because they didn't like the idea of women actually having that knowledge. It was actually a very sexist institution, colleges originally were. And if women went to a higher education, it was a finishing school so that they could learn how to basically be good wives. So yeah, it was very much about, those buildings were made mostly out of the wealth of older men who wanted to stay in power and wanted their heirs and the people in their group to stay in power. That's where all the colleges come from, man. They were interested in shit. That's a very vague statement. I'm interested in shit all the time, but that doesn't mean I'm going to... Oh, nice. Did you see that guy save me with the little stamina there? Nice. Same way you find fun to discover... So, Vitor and Maluko, what you're talking about are scientists. Are there scientists in college universities? Oh, definitely. There's definitely scientists in college universities. But you know what else is in science universities? Financiers. There wasn't a whole lot going on in science for, much of like... there's a point where science starts to explode a lot, right? There's a point where it starts to explode. But much of what people were interested in back there was mostly business and finance. There was actually significantly less science in the past than there is today. Like now, science is a huge deal. In the past, it was still kind of rudimentary. So you went to school to learn about not just how to be educated and I know how to pick up the correct fork. You learned finances. And that's why you went on to become part of the aristocracy, and you went on to operate businesses and know how to money lend and do things like that. So it was, even back then, it was very, very important stepping stone for becoming wealthy, and perhaps even more so because it was such a limited number of people who could attend college back then. It was really part of it was frivolity, sure, but a great deal of it was also about keeping the aristocrats in power, basically. This is how you kept your son in power. You think of the Bush family, right? The Bush family, and you go to the correct college and then you get to be president, even if you're not too clever, even if you're not that smart. You get to be the right president, or you get to be the president because you knew the right people. He says, no, college was created. I only believe in science. College was created for science. I think you should just do a little more research on that. Maybe stop in at a college or library. Women have knowledge now and see that they can do it. Call me sexist and bigot. What? Now that I'm educated, I know how to properly call arson a sexist. Oh, snap. Universities were created in Greece, were they not? Well, that was one of the things I was pointing out, is like, when you're talking about what, quote, universities were created for, you kind of have to define what you mean by a university and what time period, because universities have changed a lot over time. So if you're talking about Greece, that was a really long time ago. But even back then, it was basically the rich kids, it was the kids of the rich parents paying a clever guy to teach their kids philosophy, right? And that's what it was. And it was basically for keeping your kid ahead of everyone else's kids. Like, what's the point of being well-cultured? Is it for the pursuit of information and knowledge itself? Or does it actually kind of put you into an upper class, having all this information and knowledge? Right? Here's another great case, like America's slavery in the past. One of the key things they didn't want for the slaves was to have them educated. And this was part of being able to keep them basically controlled, right? So you send your children into college in the past so that your child is capable of being in the higher classes, right? And that's very much, it's not just science, right? So again, science doesn't really pick up till much later. Science in the past is actually pretty rudimentary. And who actually built the buildings? The buildings were financed, right? So the buildings were financed with loads of dude money. That's what was funding the colleges back then. There was a bunch of dudes putting their money together and funding it, okay? And they didn't do that for free. They wanted something out of it. They're like, this is what's going to keep our sons in power. Do I know what I do? I know what I'm talking about. Ah, yes. When you have to say, I know what I'm talking about. You all may think that I have a small peepee for wanting bigger peepee, but I have gigantic peepee, trust me. His name's the package dealer. The name checks out. I think this is legit. He knows what he's talking about. You about to get thrown into the wall. This dude money, how do I get some of that? I know, I need some of this money. I need some dude money. All you have to do is have a wealthy father. A wealthy aristocrat father. And then you can have some of the dude money. Oh man. Don't you hate it when your teammates didn't soften the monster's body part, but you don't want to do it yourself because your weapon requires 2 turns of softening in order to get the soften? Bruh. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. I'm so gonna grab this guy again. Looking for a dude father. Dude father with dude money, that's right. If I could have some of this dude father, dude money, that'd be great. My life would improve dramatically. Woo! Thank you, I have certified gigantic PP. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. To get real dude money, I can get you dude money, but you need some real dude thoughts. Racist. Oh, Jesus. Mr. FroTW says, my roommate frequently plays heavy weapons, but never softens. Thomas says, anyone on PC here want to run the 50 Shades White? Why you not use Clutch Claw? Why you not use 3 Clutch Claw attacks and then weapon attack? Because I'm a little bitch. That takes a long time too, man. I know about that. It just takes forever. Don't you hate it when you have to get good and just use your Clutch Claw, but it doesn't really matter because the monster isn't tempered anyway? Yeah, exactly. What about Girl Gamer Dude thoughts? Well, they're about to get some of that Girl Gamer Dude father dude money that they can then use to pay for their daddy issues. Is I possible to be cured with knowledge? No, your IQ is low and IQ is static. You can't fix yourself. You're cursed. Nothing you can do about it. What about Girl Gamer Dude thoughts? Uh-oh. Nice. He got roar. Oh! Oh, he still got me? That's so dumb. How far away do I have to be? Softening has been around for like a year and it still sucks, says Jungle J. Have you seen the animated before and after Iceborne video? No, I haven't. Oh, he's going this way, huh? Have it your way. Is Sticky Light Bowgun a meme build? Cause NCH production bring it up. Yeah, it's pretty meme. It's pretty it makes everything easy, basically. Symphonia says, if you're hot, why not make some money e-grilling? I know, right? That's why I keep telling my wife. Bruh! Keep telling her, you gotta make the good e-grill money so I can afford my dark magnetons. I just want to make money. By the way, guys, the number for the snack fund is not $4,000 that's been donated, just to be clear. It's actually $27 that's been donated, and that was from the previous stream. I'm doing a different thing now. It's going to be we're going to see how long it takes to reach 4,000 because I'm going to spend it on one Pokemon card. Just to let you guys know that your money's being spent well. Just to let you know how I spend money. So we have 27 out of 4,000. I just got an iPhone today, and having to unplug my headphones to charge my iPhone is a hindrance to my power efficiency. Ah, man. Freaking iPhone. This is why we need socialism. I beat PMD Gates to Infinity today. No reason. What? Speaking of which, I gotta go make a video and do a Raid Shadow Legends shoutout in that video. You guys ready for that? I've been offered a pretty good amount to do one of those ads, and I'm probably gonna do it, and then I'm gonna use the money to pay my taxes. Herder, softening makes the game suck. Sweats nervously in For You, where the monsters were just as tough, but you didn't get softening. He started reading my comment and stopped, sad. What? Did I? Why? Easy. You take age to kill a monster even with 20 KOs. Well, I would say in multiplayer it's not like that. Because if you have a lot of KOs, your teammates are capitalizing on those KOs. So actually the KOs help even out your lack of damage. And then it's still easy. Bruh. Ouch. What's that monster weapons would you say are flexible for master? What hat? I don't know what your question is quite. Was hat monster weapons would you say are flexible for master's touch? I would say there are only two weapons that can use master's touch. The longsword and the dual blades. All other weapons must use slugger. If I watch an ad, does that contribute to the Dark Magneton? It does, actually. Yeah, you know, not directly. I'm not going to count it because it's so hard to understand, you know, that you did that for me. But it does contribute in a way. I would say that it does. Thoughts on being a YouTuber into your 80s? It's certainly an interesting idea. Like PewDiePie, for example, nobody knows what it would be like to be an older YouTuber. If you had like a big following when you were younger, certainly you'll have a lot of young fans who grew up with you, and they'll be old fans now. It's a very fascinating idea, and I don't intend to go anywhere. This is definitely a job I think it's very well fit for me because I enjoy talking so much. So we'll see what it's like for me as well. I'll probably keep doing this for at least 20 years, and you guys are all going to be 20 years older too. So if you're 20 or 30 right now, you're going to be like 40 or 50 when I retire from YouTube probably. Package dealer says, if you do the ad, I will download Raid Shadow Legends. Dude, you're the real king here. Let's get him his crown. You're reading my comment and then the Raid Shadow Legends commercial popped up. Really? If you're a successful YouTuber in the 80s, you have FDS. I don't know what FDS stands for. PewDiePie's on a break. I heard about that. Yeah, actually, you know, a break sounds nice, but I'm too busy streaming for 2 hours and 45 minutes like a pro. Speaking of which, 2 hours and 45 minutes is well past my normal stream time. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up after this fight. I think I've helped enough randoms tonight. You know what? I want to point out, not only were we able to have a terrific conversation about a whole lot of maybe complicated or maybe even controversial subjects, but we were also able to stay alive in all of those fights. Hear that? I didn't die even one time. Big peepee, huge peepee. Index finger like twice as large as the average index finger right now. So we did good. And now I can have some breakfast and get back to work on a video. Because after I'm done working, I go back to work. I want to make the best content, the greatest content. Well, it says 6 hours a day. He's making babies as we speak. Angel says 43 years old, still buying Pokemon cards from you. Will be my future. Yep, a Pokemon. Gotta catch them all, but not coronavirus. YouTube in 1980s. Is this that one video? What? Jungle says he's not coming back. Oh, come on. Fat dick syndrome. You're too funny, man. PewDiePie will be back. He couldn't stay away. It's one of those jobs where a break is nice, but you're probably the reason you will work so hard on it is because you enjoy it. I like talking to you guys. I really do. I enjoy talking about all this stuff, and I couldn't not see myself doing this. All right, why don't we go ahead and wrap up? So this was the super late night, early morning stream. Really an odd thing that rarely happens. And we were hosting this stream because I've mostly been playing Resident Evil 5 with my wife. I'll probably keep playing with her in Resident Evil, that is. Well, in other ways too. But we'll keep playing Resident Evil 5 at the probably tonight at dinner time again, roughly 12 hours from now, I'd say, maybe 13 hours from now. We'll probably play more Resident Evil 5, and we'll be opening more Pokemon cards. Let's see if I can get a video worked on, though, in the meantime. All right, guys, I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.